Hey y'all, it's me again, Joey.
Well, ready to let them loose?
Yep, that's it. Let's see if they make us run.
Oh,
Probably so.
yeah, that one tried to get after him, but other than that, what can you expect? I mean, can you blame them? Oh yeah, they're getting after us now. Go, Joey, go!
They mad.
They're mad, buddy. I'm gonna get in the truck. You gotta go back and get your camera.
But also, just get as many as you can off the one that's through it gets out.
We gotta move away.
Do that side again. Y'all ready? Let's get started. Well, hello everybody.
Good.
Mr. how are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good, thank you.
I'm about halfway here.
Yeah, it's about me today.
Yeah. I was in a rush trying to get home. We went out and eat tonight. I had a little time to spare and was going to get home in time, and seemed like everything got in the way. Then about time I pulled up, my granddaughter pulled up in her prom dress, so I had to stop and look at her.
Oh, yes, that's a big deal.
Tell her how pretty she was. I see my hello everyone text just went out. Hey, everything about me is running late tonight.
Yeah,
Let's see who we got in here.
get over it.
I see Jack and Danae was first. I don't know if they're in here now or not. Got Keith, Bundy, Roy, Mr. JW, Jeff, Jeffries, Jonathan Stevens, Mike Tangaway. I guess I said his name right. That's the way I've always pronounced it. They're Jack and Danae.
Yeah,
Lee,
yeah, just call
Russell
him.
Edmond,
Just call
Jonathan
him Mike the
Stevens.
Tin Man. He's the Tangeray Jan, you know.
Icy Mountain Honey. Who'd I miss?
Over there. Mr. Lee Quimby. He's on the air.
Are you in the crane?
No, he's off.
Clay Bonner.
Yeah, I talked to him. He's off. They got that job done. He's off for a while.
Okay. Dean. Gunline Bees.
Yep.
It's usually
Tim,
rolling too fast. D and N. Hippies. Bruce. I think I got everybody. I hope I didn't miss somebody.
Yeah.
I've been noticing the tongue walls is popping up open here now.
Yep. Everything's busting out up here. Joel, I've got stuff. I've got flowers and blooms on every tree and every corner. Things are really hustling. I do have a confession to make for folks. I've been telling people for years that honeybees wouldn't hardly work these Bradford pear. You know what Bradford pears are? The white blossoms on them.
Yeah.
And I've never seen them work them of any nature before till this year. It's been an unusual year, but they're working them right now this afternoon. I'd like to got some video of them, but I didn't have anything with me to take them. I was back burning some brush. And there was a Bradford pear tree there, and it was covered with bees, and they don't usually hardly work Bradford pear, so I don't know what's going on. I've got literally got 1,000 acres of henbit. These fields are just pink, totally pink. The ones that hadn't been posted and sprayed to kill them from last fall. So lots of flow starting in here in this country.
That Bradford pear, is that like the cooking pear?
No, it's an ornamental actually, but it's an invasive species, and it's about to take southern Illinois and Indiana. The birds scatter the flowers.
Is that the ones you just see all over the road growing wild?
Yeah,
Not,
yeah. The white flowers, that's Bradford pear. They're pretty things, but they're a nasty tree. They're real soft. They break. They get any size to them, any kind of wind or something will break the limbs off. You got a mess to clean up. About the time they get pretty, you get them trimmed up pretty, then they'll fall over. they're not a very tough tree. Yeah, Kentucky's full of them. Southern Indiana, Southern Illinois, they're just every place. Birds scatter the seed, and they're just taking over the country, hitting autumn olive and then bush honeysuckle.
I'm gonna go ahead and get over to the YouTube side and pin this link to get it.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to get with somebody a little sharper than I am, because I can't run both sides at once the way I'm not doing something right.
I may have to switch internets again.
Yeah. So, oops, I think Joy froze up on me. Don't leave me now, Joy. Hey, Northern Russell, he's in here. Michigan Mike. Hanging there, he's back, I think. You back, Joy?
Yeah, I had to switch internets.
Okay.
It went out on me.
Right.
Had to switch internet.
All
right. Let's see. It did that while I was trying to pin that link.
Yeah.
Where'd it go?
It rained off and on all day up here today.
It was supposed to be raining here all day today and last night and some yesterday, and it never showed up.
Well, he sent it all north. Got it up here.
I wasn't complaining because I'd got a lot of work done around the yard and the field.
I lit my smoker 4 different times today. But the time I'd get ready to use it, there'd come another shower. I'd quit for a while and it'd pretty well burn out. And I think, it's going to clear off where I can get a little work done. I've got about 10 or 12 hives I haven't got through yet, and I'm not trying to get them finished up. So, did you get all your splits made?
I got 1 or 2 that's kind of running slow, and I hadn't went back and looked at them. Slow as they go, and I don't know if I'd want them to try to swarm. I'd rather just pull the queen and replace her, if I could.
Sure. Yeah, I may stick some boards in. I haven't seen any walking drones in any of my stuff yet. That's
really?
Got me concerned. Nope, I don't have any. I've got some. I'll have some in 8 or 10 days. I've got some quite a bit of drone brood and kept in a couple colonies, but I haven't seen one single drone in any of my hives.
Amber, hey Amber. I pulled some of my queens and put like 1 or 2 frames in a nuke with them,
Yeah.
and there was one of the last ones I done in my main yard. I stuck 2 frames in there, and I said, I'm not going to give them anything else out of this. I'll come get empty comb and just put in there and see what
Yeah.
they do. Because I gave them the frame that she was on and a honey. Or, no, it wasn't. It was just a little bit of a little honey in there, not a whole lot, but it was a little broody.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, I had forgotten it. And the next day, late that evening, I went through looking. I said, now, which one of them was it? So I went through about 4 of them till I found it. And they had already built, and this is just one little frame of bees. They had already built 2 comb about that long. It wasn't about 2 inches wide and about
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 inches long off the lid already.
Mm-hmm.
So I may end up giving her some help. She may have some good genetics in her if they
Yeah.
want to build
Yeah.
a comb that little. They usually just kind of run around on the comb when they no more than that.
I did. It's been, like I said, I've seen a little bit of everything this year that I'm not used to seeing. I don't know if I mentioned to you. If I have, I'm repeating myself. Will shut me down, Joey. I don't want to bore
Go
people.
ahead.
I had a couple week colonies. They were queen right, but they just about the size of your hand. There 2 weeks ago. Uh, Tom Sauceman and Matt Ransbottom was out here from St. Louis, and they were weak enough. I said, "Well, heck with them." I put them in a. One of them was in a single to deep 8, and none was in a deep 5 frame nuke.
Yeah.
All these were, and I took both of them and put them reduced them down to 1 5 frame deal, and put both little colonies with the queens in there. And by gosh, as of yesterday, there's still 2 queens, and they're building up. I'm going to have to put another box on them or transfer them into an 8 frame or something.
Huh.
Both them queens are still with them. So I don't know. It's been something else. And I told you about the one that we talked about it on Charlie's deal or one time this week, about the double deep with the medium.
Yeah.
Wouldn't a single drop anything in them two deep. All
That's strange.
yeah, there wasn't nothing in those combs. And my combs, I've got all kinds of pollen and stuff. My pollen frames look like kaleidoscopes. There's reds, pinks, greens, yellows, about every color in the rainbow in them. They're working a little bit of everything.
I have got the invitation link pinned now. If anybody wants to come in, give us something to talk about.
Yeah, come in here and help us out. I'm about to run out of lies to tell.
I went up to that house that my son used to own in Tylertown.
Yep.
And took some videos. I wish I could have done that earlier and had some ready. Let's see.
Got a question there, Russell or Joey, that I can't answer there from Frankie. I don't know anything about those Russians.
I don't either.
I have to get your information elsewhere from me because I don't know anything about them.
I got a couple of buddies that work them, but I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
I thought I was downloading the video.
Russell Koopman's asking about your honey flow there, Joey. I don't know if you got it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm hoping it'll get started any minute now because we're 2 or 3 weeks behind in our honey flow. It's trickling. It's trickling, but not enough to keep them busy.
I think mine started. My bees are just, I mean, my stout hives are just, I
Yeah,
mean, they're just got the air hot. They're beating with their wings so hard in and
yeah.
out.
I know the blackberries. I don't have a lot around me, but because it's mostly timber, they like to grow on in un, uncut, untended fields.
Yeah, brush or fence
But
rows. Yeah, blackberries do.
it's
Up here,
what
my
I see
blackberries aren't
blooming
blooming up
good.
here. I don't
Now,
have. I've got a lot of blackberries, but they're not near blooming yet.
somebody had asked the other day if bees got nectar from that tongue oil, and I can't remember what the answer was.
Got the nectar from the what?
That tongue oil
Oh, okay.
tree,
Yeah, I don't know
tongue
anything about
nut,
those either. That's southern stuff.
they uh, they get pollen off of them. I think they died.
Todd House, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, and I imagine my buddy's clover by my Reagan yard. It's probably doing pretty good over there. I hadn't been back since I uh, checked for sales.
Yeah. Oh, Brad down there, pretty close to you. He said he's got a lot of clover around him. That's his main flow right now. That's what he says. Uh, oh, the Cajun homestead guy. I can't think of his
Yeah, he's he's 2 or 3 hours away from me.
Yeah, he's northwest of you. Isn't that correct?
He's actually kind of southwest.
Oh, really? I didn't think he's that far south, but maybe he is.
I hadn't really looked at where he's at. He may be straight west of me.
Uh, I thought he's maybe up there in that Shreveport area and along in through there, but I'm just guessing because I didn't
He's
I
not
didn't
far from
know.
there, so he's
Yeah,
probably more west than me.
yeah.
I downloaded them pictures and now I can't find them. Well, I'll wait. Let me get back to what I'm doing. I went and pulled. Where is- oh, so they're not touching it. The sugar. Is that what Sarah's saying?
Yeah. Sarah's about 80, 100 miles straight east of me over in south central Indiana. But she's just about straight east of me.
That's a new. I've never been to that town. I guess I need to go to see it.
And Sarah, I don't know where it's at either. Excuse me, I may have to mute myself. I'm going to go on a coughing spree, I think.
That gets you some water and a cough drop. Are you asking me or somebody else, Russell? If you're asking me, I've got, let's see, let me count them in my head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 of my regular swarm traps up, and I set a regular hive up, so it'd be 7. And I got bees in one of them. I went by to spray it today, and it had look. I thought it was scout bees. I was going to turn around and walk away, and by the time I went and turn around, I seen pollen going in. Now I don't think a scout bee is going to be carrying pollen around.
No,
I've never seen that. And I put my ear to the box, and I could hear a lot of bees in there, but it didn't look that busy. But maybe tomorrow night I might need to go take it down, get it in the yard somewhere.
Well, I've got 14 swarm traps, and they're all in the shed, and I'm not going to put any out. I've got all the bees I want.
Mm. Let me look over here and see if I can find the videos I just downloaded or loaded to my computer. It's not working with me right. I guess I'll worry about it later. For some reason I'm not even seeing downloads.
I had a spew last night with my computer. I had to call my grandson-in-law. He kind of got me straightened out.
All right, I found them. I'm going to try to get them to a file, a folder. Somebody's knocking on the door. Let me get back over there. That's Brad right there. Hey.
Yes.
Hey, what's happening?
Not much. How are you?
Talk about you. Bet your ears are burning, wasn't it, buddy?
No, I just turned it on.
He's talking about where you were from. I thought you was maybe around the Shreveport area. Are you further south than that?
Yeah, I'm central Louisiana.
Okay. All right.
So, okay, I was thinking you were further south.
No,
South
I'm in a Vols parish.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
We was talking about the clover. He was saying he had a neighbor had some clover, but he didn't. I said you was saying last night or one of the last chats that your bees were working clover pretty hard. You thought?
Yeah, they bringing in a lot of clover right now.
I've got some clover around me and alfalfa, but it's not blooming up here yet. I'd say we may be 20 days from clover bloom up here. You know. But,
oh, really?
Yeah, but I've got acres and acres of dead nettle in bed. I mean, these fallow fields that haven't been sprayed, they're pink. I did a little short on some of them the other day. Just run my phone camera around and posted it on YouTube, I think. So
They got we got that. I call it just the yard clover, the white. I think the white Dutch.
yeah.
Well, I bought some because I have a lot of it that comes up in my yard and the lot that I have next door. But I bought some seeds from the last fall because they said you got to plant it before the winter.
Well, you don't have to, but yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I bought it from the feed store, and they said it was white Dutch. It looks the same, but the plant itself, because I can tell the difference from the one that's just there normally. It's a little bit shorter. But the ones that I planted, it's taller green and it's flowering later. It's just starting to flower now, where the other one's been flowering since the end of February and the beginning of March.
Yeah, that little Dutch clover flower earlier than the other. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's I'm having a senior moment. There's a white clover. It's got a little pink in the middle of it too. That a lot of people they'll say you for white clover, and the bees don't like it very well either. some of you guys, it's your mind's working. I can't think of the name of it. I'll think of it whenever I get time to think of it. It's
I don't know.
Now we do have a not very much of it, but it's a clover that puts out a pink flower. It don't make like a flower like a white Dutch, like a round flower. It just makes a little pink flower. But it grows in like bunches, a bunch here and a bunch there. It's not like
that's not some kind of vetch, is it? You know what
I don't
vetch
know.
is?
I don't know. The leaves look just like a clover, except it's a three leaf clover, and it looks exactly like a clover until you see it blooming.
Vetch is more viney looking. You know, it's got a hexagonal shape, long. No, that's not red clover. There's a what you call it? Gunline said crimson clover in full bloom. That's one of the white varieties.
Yeah, it's a
Alsac. That's what I was trying to say. Bush brown, the Alsac clover, but it's animals like it for feed, but the bees don't work it too good in my area. But I'm gonna quit saying what bees work and don't work, because I've been telling people that bees wouldn't work these Bradford pears, but I've got trees loaded with them today, so I'm gonna quit. I'm going to quit trying to tell people what bees will work and what won't work.
They might be hungry.
Yeah, they shouldn't be. There's quite a bit of other stuff around. Every dandelion I've got in fields and yards and stuff is they got bees on them. 2 or 3 of them. Some of them little old dandelion blooms got 2 or 3 bees on them. So everything's popped out here, and they're going after it.
Now, I don't remember which one. A beekeeping friend of mine. He was actually the Protect carpenter instructor where I worked. There's one of those clovers that they really make a lot of honey. It's a white clover, but it's not the white clover that's just kind of growing around here everywhere.
Well, that's probably Dutch. Dutch is your best producer, I'm pretty sure.
That may be it, because he had looked it up and sent me an email on it one time, back on our working email. I'm gonna have to call him and ask him again. I'd like to plant about an acre of it in my place and see how it does with them, because he had some figures where it showed how many pounds of honey one field. I don't know where he got that information. One acre field would actually bring in on that.
Oh, Brad's not going to have any honey this year, I can tell you. I seen his hives here the other day, and they're all solid bees. There ain't no way they can have no honey.
Hell, he did all up, huh?
He had some strong hives. He was doing some pretty splits. I'll say that for you, buddy. I didn't think you Southern boys could grow that nice of bees. But some of you can.
I had 2 guys come pick up nukes today. One picked up 6 and one picked up 4. And like I tell all of them, I say, as soon as you get them home, if you're not going to put them in the hives, open the boxes up and let them fly.
Sure.
And to let them get out of there and, fly around and not get hot.
Yeah, they're packed in there, I imagine. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because I put a lot of bees in there.
Yeah.
And even after I pack them, I put them underneath my shed with a fan on them to make sure that they stay cool.
I'm sure.
Well, he's from Texas. He lives 3.5 hours away. He drove home. He came at, very early in the morning, like right at daylight, pick him up. Drove home, and I think he said he did 3 of them. And he left the other one, which was in a white, like Jester nuke box, on top of the hive. And then he went and messed with a hot hive that he had that he wanted to kill the queen. Well, he calls me later on that afternoon and he says, "Man," he says, he asked me something else about the bees, but he says, "I want to let you know, I killed one box of bees." I said, "What you mean?" He says, "I left them out there in the sun in that box, and I opened them up, and they were all dead." He said, "Boy, they had a lot of bees in there, but they were all dead." I said, "I
Man,
tell you," I said, you gotta let it. You can't leave them in the sun for one thing
my
in a
Lord,
nuke
no.
box closed up because they have nowhere to go. And them Jester nuke boxes. That's one thing I like about the Pro nukes. They have more vent on the end that they can vent through and through.
Yeah.
Where the Jesters just got them little bitty holes in the front, and they don't get a lot of airflow out of that. Because if you put your hand, like yesterday, I was putting a little piece of tape on the doors and stuff, just so they don't blow off the tops and stuff.
Sure.
And just from them venting, you can feel a breeze going through that Pro nuke from all them bees fanning inside. Where that Jester nuke box, you couldn't feel anything coming out that box. It just felt like heat. So that's why I put a fan on him. But he went home and left him in the sun for hours, and
Mm-mm-mm.
he
That's too
lost he
bad.
lost one hive. I said, "I'm sorry to hear that," but I said, you cannot. That's one thing you cannot
Sure.
do.
Have
So
you,
I don't know if they'll still be good, but he did take the brood out because I give a lot of brood in there, and he put the brood in the other hives. And I said, "Well, you'll know in a couple of days if it's still good because they'll start tearing it out if it's not."
Yeah. Philip said,
you made up some nice
watch your
dudes.
language. Mama's watching.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to quit cussing, Joey.
And the other guy was just the opposite. He ordered 6, and he called me up, like just a couple hours after he got him. He says, "I got those nukes in the hives. You got 4 more?" And I'm like, he says, "Man, you give some good nukes." I said, "Well," I said, "it won't be till next weekend if I know if I got some more or not." But we had a lot of rain today, and I couldn't go back in the hives to
Yeah.
dig and see what I got.
Yeah, it rained. I told Joey, probably before you come on, if you wasn't watching, I told Joey I lit my smoker 4 different times today and never did get the beehive. About the time I'd get ready to start, why, here'd come another shower and it'd rain for an hour or two, long enough for my smoker to go out. I'd relight it and
I
I got
hate them days where it rains on
so
and off.
it's supposed to be it's about well, most of the rain was supposed to be through here today, but there's still a chance tomorrow and Monday too.
Yeah, I
High
see.
Monday up here is supposed to be in the 40s again, so it was 80 yesterday and about 75 today.
I think we're supposed to get a low in the 50s sometimes next week, but that's about it.
I've got about 8 or 10 I haven't got through yet, and I want to finish them up and see what happens.
Hey, Brian.
Oh, Maxwell is honey doing. That's what he's done. Tom out there in Ohio, he's honey doing.
I had a call yesterday and a call today wanting to make nuke orders. I told him, I said, right now, I can't promise I have any more because my orders, my number that my fixed number in my head, I've already got that quota. So I just told him I'd put them on a waiting list, see how that goes.
Do you feed any like patties and stuff early in the year? Like,
No,
see that's what I did because I knew I wanted to sell a lot of nukes this year.
yeah.
So all those overwintered queens that were small throughout the winter, come January, I hit them with that that it's made by Dandit, that 23 something or whatnot. It's like a fondant patty, but it has pollen in it. And I hit them all with that, and then 2 weeks later, which was like the almost the end of January, I hit them with a pollen patty and started feeding them 1-to-1. And man, they took off. They just blew up. They started laying brood everywhere, and that's what I needed. I needed them to lay a lot of brood so I can start making these nuke cells and make those queens.
Tom, I got you the other day. I seen my first red buds yesterday, so I'm a day ahead of you out here. He's about straight east of me, also a little bit. He's actually a little bit north of me, but a couple 100 miles over to Tom's place from here.
Philip, I went to respray everything today, and one of them had what I thought was scout bees going in and out. And I started to turn around and walk back to the truck, and I seen pollen going in. So I'm going to wait till tomorrow or the next day to call it an official swarm catch. So the answer is maybe right now.
Oh, the old yes but theory, huh?
Queen Bee is asking if I'm going to requeen after the nectar flow. Yeah, I'm going to requeen everything after the flow. My nukes are going to get requeened twice this year. Or they're not really nukes, they're in double eights. But they're getting requeened right now because they're making their own queens, and they're going to get requeened again after the honey flow when I graft. My honey hives, I just requeen once.
I had saw something I wanted to pull up, but I don't see it now. I guess it'll come back. Yeah, I keep saying every year I'm not even going to sell nukes. Not even going to bother with nukes. And then I started getting people calling me. I said, well, if I got to make nukes for them, I might as well advertise. So I advertised.
And how you doing advertising nukes around here unless you want to, if you want to sure sell some because they'll aggravate you to death. That's the reason I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me about it. I had just put one little thing in Facebook. December in Marketplace saying that I will be selling overwinter nukes in March. Yeah. And everybody calls. Yeah. When those nukes could be ready.
Yeah, I had a few that used to call me every 2 weeks. When the nuke's going to be ready? Middle of April. A few days later, they'd text or whatever, middle of April.
I told one guy, he kept calling me like that. He says, you sure I can't come get them early? I'd sure like to get. I said, you're going to be getting a queen with 2 frames of bees. I said, that's all they got right now. I know you don't want that.
Yeah.
You sure could be upset.
I'm going to let my old buddy do all that, if any, that I do. His name is Mark Miller. He lives in northwest corner of Tennessee, Union City. So if you need nukes, folk, call my buddy Mark Miller.
There's your question, Brad.
No. Because when I requeen, those hives have a lot of bees, so they can pretty much protect what they got. Because like I said, I'm trying to, the smallest hives that I got right now are the licensed 6 framers, and they're in doubles, so it's still 12 frames.
Yep. I don't know how you find any queens anyway to kill them. That's heavy of your bees.
I mark that I do mark everything because the ones that are not marked, man, it's hell.
Yeah.
Because I have a habit of not marking the ones in my honey hives, because
Yeah.
they stay a whole year.
Yeah.
And right now, man, they so blowed up. It's hard to find. I couldn't find one the other day when I did that video. I couldn't.
Yeah, I seen that video.
I mean, I had eggs everywhere, but she was hiding like a ninja or something.
Yeah. I got some big old black queens anyway, and they're hard to see if you got a lot of bee
Mhm.
hives.
And I made a mistake. I'll never do this again. When I first started beekeeping, some of those plastic frames come where you could break off the corner.
Yeah.
And I broke off all the corners on all the ones that I did.
Makes it
And
easy
let me
for
tell you
them.
what, those bees will travel through that corner, and those queens will sneak to the other side through
Yeah.
that so easy.
Yeah, that makes it easier for them hiders.
I'll never do that again.
Hunters. Yeah.
Let me see if I can show y'all this video right quick. I went up to a house my son used to own in Tylertown.
Oh
Well,
goodness.
that video ain't working real good.
He had a
Can y'all see
tornado.
that?
Yeah, we see it. Lord, yes. Lord, man. Yeah, you
Good
said it was
grief.
gone. It's for sure gone, isn't it?
That white car was up in the garage. It's sitting on the garage floor.
The garage left and the car stayed, huh?
The whole house left the slab except this one pile of wood over there.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. That's not that far from Russell either, is it?
No.
Where's that at again?
That's in Tylertown, Mississippi.
Oh,
All
okay.
right, let me play another one here. That's the front door.
Yeah.
Them tornadoes don't play around.
This house had 9-foot doors on it, double doors, front and back.
Oh, man. I'd say that's total, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Not funny, but
Let's see. I'm gonna pull a couple more up while y'all talking. See if I can get them. That had a beautiful stained floor on it. I'll be right back.
I don't know where we lost. I guess it's just me. I don't know what happened to Brad. He went off too. Quarter of a mile, Russell. I was gonna say
There I
that'd be
am.
pretty close. Boy, I was feeling a little lonesome there for a minute. You was gone and Joy dropped off.
Yeah, Joey threw me out.
I'm about lied out. I don't know what to talk about.
That's your garden you got behind you there?
Yeah, an old one.
Okay. I like to do box gardens too.
Yeah, I mess with them a little. I actually did some gardening today. I live at the edge of town. That's where my residence is. But my main farm, I've got a garden out there also. This is just for house stuff, and then I've got my middle son lives pretty close here to me, so he helps me with those boxes too. So
Yeah. I like to use the box gardens for like in the winter, especially when I do my lettuce and stuff.
yeah.
Because if I plant lettuce or cabbage in the in-ground garden, the rabbits just clean me out.
I have to feed I'm going to get some videos of it. I've got, most people kill them, the groundhogs or the woodchucks, I've got them around a lot. They eat a lot of my stuff. I just let them have it. I like to watch them, but I've got some so tame that they'll just stand up and let me walk right up to them, They know I'm harmless.
I had stacked a whole bunch of boxes that I painted next to my bee colonies. And I grabbed one of the boxes and it kind of it's empty boxes, and it tilted over to the side, and I heard something squealing, and they're like, I thought it was a mouse, and I picked it up, and it was a little baby rabbit, and he was trapped on there, and he looked like he was kind of dazed for a second, but I put him in the grass and I left him alone. And the next day, I'm getting me a milk crate, and I'm sitting on that milk crate, and I'm on one of the hives looking for the queens and stuff. And that sucker, he was underneath one of them hives. And when he ran out of there, I guess he thought I was going to knock a box over again. Boy, he scared the crap out of me. ran between my legs. But he's hanging around my beehives.
Yeah, like I said, DC says, sometimes they'll kind of freeze up and panic. You think they're, they will just want their instinct is to not move, I guess, So
Yep.
All right, let me show y'all another one where I can get this out of my way here. Let's see, 47. That's that stained concrete floor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can see the floor, the decoration and stuff in it. Yeah. Wow. No, that's too bad. I guess was it occupied? Was the people in it, or did
they were in it? They, according to my son, they had to pull them out.
Yeah.
I did a video with my truck sitting right where that white car is about swarm boxes several years ago. Right there. If you go find one of my videos from like 2020, I think, my red truck was sitting right where that car is. I've already done that one, haven't I?
Yeah.
I had one more to show y'all.
Hey, Steve Amos, how you, buddy?
$50. Let me try that. That's the one I just showed, wasn't it?
Well,
tell you what, them tornadoes will snap them old pine trees.
Yeah, they'll snap a 20-inch white oak too. Scissors, stout. We got lots of them up here. This is Tornado Alley where I'm at.
I got to remove some of them, I guess, or some of them show up. Let's see. Let me get rid of some. Come on. I did not click on that one. This is the driveway going back to the highway. This used to be, you couldn't hardly see this house for the trees and the road. They even had a little shop up here to the left. There was a little, used to be like a mechanic shop and then a lawnmower shop. It's gone. There's
these flags, like, I'm interrupting you. Go ahead, George.
That's all right. There was steel laying all out, steel beams laying all out in those woods to the right.
Sure. Them tornadoes, by their very nature, I don't know why, they'll kind of follow a low swag or a great column or something. They'll go right up. I know this is a low swag through there. I don't know if there's a creek in it or not. It's like the dead. They like to follow those things for some reason.
All right, that's it. Now I got to
figure out how mess to clean up.
Yep. I'll get it moved in a minute.
Yeah.
But
You got chickens, Brad? I'm changing the subject. You got chickens?
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to have a few, but I can't keep them. I got so many varmints they won't last. They won't last 5 days around here. I've even tried guineas and everything else. Yep.
Well, I have some too, but um, it's mostly what gets mine are like possums and stuff like that. But I pretty much keep them trapped out.
Yeah.
And I had one thing that was getting me last year. Couldn't figure out what it was. It was nabbing it at night and wasn't taking it out the chicken yard, but it was eating it without eating the bones. And so I set up a game camera in the chicken house, and it was a damn owl. He
Yep.
would come in there at night, grab one off the nest,
Yep.
and just eat them up. But once I put that game camera in there with that red eye, it never came back.
huh,
So I bought these little and it saved me from bobcats because I had a bobcat coming around, and when a bobcat comes around, he'll come until he cleans the whole thing out.
Yeah, I've got them here too.
Because I knew it was him from his claw marks on the fence posts where
Yep.
he was dragging. They had blood on the fence post where he dragged the chicken over the fence, and I had a big wire cage that's even made for like coons and stuff like that. It's a bigger one, and I set it out with. I found his carcass that he hadn't eaten it all the first night.
Mm-hmm.
Set that in there, and I trapped him, but he got out. He bent that front door up, and
Yeah.
that was hair all over that cage from where he went. He moved it. He messed around in the cage so much through a fit that he moved the cage. The cage rolled, and he finally broke his way out. It must have been a big tom or something because he bent that front door open and got out. But after that, I never seen him again.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. The dog barking at somebody.
Okay. I bought these little square, little square plastic box. It has a red dot in the center, a red light in the center, and on the top of it, it might be 2 inches square. On the top of it, it has a little solar panel, and you just set them on the side of your barn. They have like a one screw hole. You set it on the side of your barn, and it'll charge up all day. And at night, it blinks red, and it's for critters and stuff like that. Because like your predators, they think if they see another predator, they won't come. They get afraid of a different predator coming to an area. And I set those little boxes. I bought 3 of them around a chicken pen. And I don't have any bobcats or anything like that come around anymore. And they've been there. It's been a couple of years since that bobcat came around, and I was having trouble with that all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't get any coons. I don't get any bobcats. I don't get the hawks at night. But the only thing will come is the possums. They don't pay attention to it. So I keep a trap on the outside of my pen set constantly with some feed in it.
Yeah.
They love chicken pellets.
Yeah.
And I have it where I go into my shed at like in an open barn, and so that way I check it every day when I go get the feed for the chickens.
Yeah.
And man, I was catching them every other day for about a week there, and then now I haven't caught one in. It's been about a month or so. I haven't seen one at all. So
Yeah. I go on trapping sprees. I'll catch 20 or 30 of them. About that many, 1 or 2 a night. Get them caught down, and I'll quit, and they thicken back up on me. But I'm surrounded with trees and stuff also. So
yeah,
I got lots of varmints. And so
I like my chickens. I got
bees, clean up after bees, but I can't keep them. I even had guinea fowl, and I couldn't keep them either. I got 20 guineas, and they didn't last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Got about every one of them.
the guineas. I had two males, two females, and something killed. They were sleeping in the trees, and something killed the two females. Left me the two males, so all I got is two males, and they've been there for a year. I ain't buying no more guineas. And those two males now they sleep since there's no more female guineas. Sleep in the hen house with the chickens,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
nothing gets them in the hen house.
Huh. They usually like to, guineas like to roost outside and in the trees.
Yeah. Well,
they
that's where when them females were there, the females and the males would roost in the trees next to the barn. But ever since them two females got killed, them guineas hang around them two males hang around the chickens now, and they sleep with the chickens now.
Do you swarm trap any, Brad?
Last year I did a lot.
Yeah.
This year I only got a few out, and they all around my house in case I get any my own. Last year I had set in my daughter's house in Baton Rouge, and I caught 3 or 4 there. And then I had some in some fields nearby, like the wildlife reserves, and I had caught some there. But this year I hadn't had the time to really go set none out. I've been messing with those nukes.
Yeah. Clarimore's got 2 in traps, he says.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Anybody's welcome to come to my place and trap them, because I'm not going to trap them. I usually set out a few. I think I got 14 swarm traps made up. I think Joey must have stole some of mine from last year, because I was down there this spring. His looks just like mine. So either that or I stole some off of him. I don't know which.
Them swarm traps are some work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake and don't fill them up with frames, you got some work on your hands if you leave them too long.
Yeah. Especially if you got solid bottoms or something on them where you can't get down in them.
Yeah.
I made that mistake on some of them too.
Yeah.
When I was trapping pretty hard, I bought some of those paper mache jobbies that look like flower pots, I don't know if you've seen them out advertising. And I didn't have them things out there the week. The squirrels eat the hole out the end of every one of them. Made about a 3/8 hole at the end of it. I throw them things away. They wouldn't with the dang.
The squirrels said they had some new insulation for their nest.
Yeah. They just eat them little old bee holes. They had about a 3/4 hole in the center of the bottom of them, like a flower pot would have. And them squirrels had them about 3 inches around in about a week's time. So that was money sure wasted.
I don't think I didn't I didn't set but like 6 out. And set a Hive body up as one, but I've got 12 total. And I tell you what else they'll do. They'll run you out of equipment. You keep catching swarms like last year. They'll run you. I was pulling old rotten boxes out of the burn pile to put bees in last year, and I still got 2 in nuke box into the swarm trap boxes, sitting on a rail, just waiting. I could probably do it now, but I've been waiting for a flow to get going good where they'd leave me and the bees alone. Yes, finally raining here, leave no wind, just a good little sprinkle. You can probably see it on my shirt where I had to go outside.
I hope our rain's getting about over, but I know it's not. It's just now rainy season here. April showers bring me flowers. It's just
Yeah.
what they claim up here.
I've been wanting to do my swarm boxes the way Philip has his. Cut them in half and fix them where I can put frames, empty frames, down in the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
No, blow
just
'em. Yeah.
just in case they start drawing. Because for the last, I've had them things for several years, but for the last 2 or 3 years, seem like instead of moving over, they're wanting to go straight down. I
Hmm.
don't know why. I don't know if that's some kind of flow has something to do with that or the genetic of the bee. But instead of moving over in all those other frames, they want to move down.
They
And
just go in one frame and just move it clear to the
yeah,
bottom.
they start at the bottom of that frame and work all the way down. Just
Yeah. I've got mine. My swarm trap's 20 inches deep, and I just put standard deep frames in them and let them build. They'll build out below that.
mhm.
I very seldom. I never had one go clear to the bottom though of the 20 inches. I've had them fill out like, well, oh, my swarm traps they'll hold 5 frames. That's what they'll hold.
I checked my swarm trap today. It's hanging like 20-25 yards away from my apiary, and man, it was buzzing with all kind of scouts. And I'm there like, I should tie something to one of these bees and follow him back to see which one's fixing to swarm on me.
You like you do.
Yeah,
As I used to do the horse flies. I'd catch them and stick a little old feather, chicken feather, a
Hmm.
little fuzzy feather in their tail. You could follow by the way.
Yeah.
catch a couple of those bees and paint them like a queen, and just kind of watch the apiary till you see which hive they're going in.
I tell you what, they'll trick you. I got a very small hole on that trap, and they must have had about 5 or 6 of them just standing around the hole. I said, "Oh, they must have had something moved in." I opened up, there was nothing. There's just a bunch of scout bees inside
Yeah.
flying around.
I tell
Maybe
you what they'll do. I don't know if y'all ever had any close enough to notice this, but uh, not last year. Might have been year before last. I've got a total of 12 acres here,
Mm-hmm.
and I hung two kind of spread out away, one on each side of my main yard here, and then I hung uh, one in the backyard. I had a fourth one somewhere on this 12 acres. But all of a sudden, all 4 boxes got busy with bees. I said, good gracious, I'm fixing to catch something. I'm fixing to catch 2 or 3 swarms. And they were busy, busy, busy. And then all of a sudden, finally a swarm moved in one of those 4 boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And after they moved in, the it took a couple hours or maybe 3 or 4-ish, but all those scouts that were in those other boxes just kind of dwindled away.
Yeah.
What it was, they were scouting all those opportunities until they made up their mind where they were going to go.
Mm-hmm. And it's like the ones that were by the hole on mine. It's like they were actually like guarding it, like
Yeah,
maybe keep other scouts away.
yeah, that's what they do. Let's see what we got here. Hmm.
He's in trouble.
I don't know.
I mean, if you don't have no equipment, there ain't much you could do to.
I didn't do a video. I guess the last one I split, I probably should have videoed it, and I didn't. It was the only one that I found queen cells in. I split that, and it was a triple deep. I split it 3 ways. I split it with pulled the queen in 2 frames over to the side, and I pulled one frame with cells out. It had like multiple cells. Pulled it out and put in a third box and put it on top of a double screen divider board on top of the main hive, which is now just 2 boxes. I just split it 3 ways basically. Can you find the queen? I have actually used, if I had boxes, I've actually just used old sheet of plywood or piece of tin, whatever I could use. I've actually done it without a bottom. Just set it on a couple of blocks or something, and a piece of plywood for the lid.
Bees are not picky.
No, they're not. That's why I like to have a bunch of empty nuke boxes laying around too. Stuff like that.
Well, I've got a bunch, and I think I seen one today that they act like they might have been trying to work it. I had one last year, moved into swarm last year, moved into, well, it was winter or summer before, spring before last, not this past spring, 2 years ago. Moved into an open box. They didn't have a top or bottom, either one on them, was just sitting there, and they started building comb on the side of it, and had it pretty well built up. And I put them in a nuke box and winter, babied them all winter and got them through. It was kind of a late swarm, got them through the winter, and in the spring they froze to death on me. Didn't have enough bees, I guess, to keep them warm.
They'll move into a dead out too, because I had one last year move into a dead out.
I think I may have that situation right now going on. They're checking it out. I seen some other bees, and I've got some of them, what I call hoop buildings, and it's inside the hoop building. And I think they may be going to try to move into it. I don't know. I don't think I have a bottom on that hive. I think I just got it sitting on a trailer. Metal.
I've actually also had a situation where I didn't have a bottom, but I had 2 lids. And I'd set that lid down and set that box on it and just slide it forward a little bit.
Yeah, I've done that.
Laid the other lid on top. I lost my comments. There we go.
Seen her since last week when I made 2 splits out of that triple deep. It's down to 2 double deeps now. I don't know.
Yeah, anytime I got queen cells, I try my best to get that queen out of there.
Yep.
Especially if they sealed.
Yeah. I've had situations where I couldn't find that queen and really needed to get her out of there. And I've got an old box with a plastic queen excluder stapled to it. And if I have to, if I feel like she's still in there, if I'm seeing eggs and I'm seeing swarm cells too, I have actually shook every frame off and found her and 2 virgins. So that's another good tool to always have. But the way you do that, you have to move that whole colony, that whole box, double deeps or whatever they are, get them out of the way, set another box there,
Yep.
shake, put the queen excluder box up there on top of it, a new box sitting there. Shake that frame off, slide it over a little bit and put that frame down in that box and just keep repeating. Shake the next one, slide it over, keep putting that brood down in there. You start with your brood, and all those bees that go down and cover that brood again, eventually you'll find a bunch of drones and the queen. And I don't know if it helps or not, but I also put duct tape around the top of that box. Who was that? Michael? What's that Michael's name? Can't remember his name. I think he's the one that I saw a video of that on with queen excluder attached to the box and duct tape around the top. Says that queen won't cross that duct tape.
Mm-hmm. I've heard him say that. Don't know. I just got a queen excluder I cut out. I made me out of an old Walmart, one of them Walmart tote boxes. I just cut it to size and glued it to a board, like a telescopic lid. Cut the hole in it and made me a shaker board, and I cut me a queen excluder, just a plastic queen excluder, the size that where I could take it in and out of that shaker box, and that was pretty good. I'm like you, I'm getting old and my eyes are getting bad anyway, and I can't.
Yeah.
And besides that, I don't have a lot of patience when it comes to, if I can't find them queens in about 2 passes, I get a little bit impatient sometimes. So I get to want to shake pretty bad. Well, like I said, you don't have to have a top or a bottom board, Sam. You can get by with a couple pieces of plywood if it comes to that, or a piece of roofing or whatever, something to make you. They don't care. Stick a stick underneath her and on them, they'll go in and out.
I can't remember that Michael. I'm trying to remember. He's one of those big queen rearers.
Somebody said his name. Michael Buck.
No.
Oh, you're talking about up there in the Northeast, Michael?
Yeah.
Lord, I know who you mean now. Michael Palmer. Mike Palmer.
I think that's him. I think Michael Palmer's he had a video.
Yep, he does.
He had a video on that. That's where I got that idea from, and I've used it a few times.
That's Michael Palmer up there. He's up in Vermont, I think. New Hampshire, Vermont one, I think.
But when those things are building swarm cells, there is a lot of bees, and it's hard to find a queen walking around on 2 layers of bees on a frame. And some of them you can't shake them. You can't shake them, or you can blow them a little bit and make them move. But first time I saw that, I said, I'm going to try that. I had problems with one of them, and I went right out the next day and still found that queen. But you got to sweep them off. Sweep them off. If you got cells on there, don't go shaking no queen cell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's pretty sharp. He can pretty well take anything he puts out to the bank. I can tell you that. He's pretty sharp when it comes to beekeeping, I think. I don't see much of him anymore, of his stuff. He don't do a lot of videos anymore. Yeah, I couldn't think who he's talking about.
So even if you take 6 frames away, with all swarm cells and put them in a different box, but leave the queen, then they will still swarm. Sometimes, yes, because you may not have taken all the queen cells, or you may have a virgin run around in there and not know it.
Or I'd tell you, in my opinion, once they make up their mind for sure they're going to swarm, I believe you could lock them in a steel box and they'd,
Yeah.
they'd
I've seen them leave and come back because they
yeah,
didn't have a queen with them.
yep, I have too. I had one do that last year.
But to my opinion, I would move that queen if I could
Yeah,
and leave a cell or two, because you still gonna have, even though you've created a queenless hive, you still gonna have maybe a pocket swarm out of them, even if the first queen that gets mated stays. You may still get a pocket swarm, but
yeah,
I
I've
would
got to
move
move
that
that queen.
queen because if you leave her, they're gonna leave with her eventually.
Yep. Well, look at there.
Hmm?
There's the old Tar Heel beekeeper himself.
Yeah,
What's up?
he's probably been wax dipping.
He must have been doing something. He's past his bedtime. He usually checks out about
Excuse me.
8 o'clock. He's like me. He's pretty much an early bedder. Hey, Randy. Uh, I did some wax dip. I wax dipped 91 pieces this week. Thursday this week, I think it was, or Wednesday. I've got
Do,
my
uh,
wax dipping done, I hope, for the year.
do you get somebody to help you when you do that, or you're all by yourself?
Oh, I'm a fool. I'm a fool. I had
You go,
everything gathered up, and then I had it sitting on a little old flatbed trailer out there. But my wax dip, I've got my wax dipping tank in a 3-sided shed, one of my old cattle 3-sided sheds, with the open on it. And I backed that trailer up to it the night before. Guess what happened? It rained and got all that stuff wet. Then I had a foamy mess. It took me all day, from about 9 o'clock in the morning to about dead dark, to do 91 pieces. They was foaming bad. They had enough water on them. They'd hit that hot wax and they'd go to boiling.
huh.
I actually boiled it over twice.
That's one of them projects. If you get started and you wish you hadn't have started it, it's
No,
one
you
of them.
ain't no quitting to it unless
No,
you,
it ain't no quitting. You point of
just,
no return.
just have to buckle up and keep on trucking.
Lee must be leaving.
Yeah, I didn't see his post, but
Yeah.
well, anybody got any questions for Joey? He's the man to ask. If we don't know the answer, we'll try to baffle you with BS. We'll do no cussing. We'll baffle
I
you
tell
with
you,
BS.
if you got a question, I tell you what I can do. I can pop it right up on the screen where everybody else can see it.
Maybe we can get you the answer. Everybody's tight-lipped tonight.
Where's old Charlie at? I haven't seen him in the.
There may be a cowbush boogie dance up there in
Yeah.
Maryland someplace. May be out tight shoeing at someplace, Brad. If he's out there, if he's watching, we'll smoke him out. I'll insult him. We'll smoke him out.
Also, the other group that always joins you. What's the name?
You mean Walker and Brad
Yeah.
Hogg and that bunch? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're all incognito tonight. Everybody's busy, wore out from beekeeping.
Yeah.
Brad posted, I don't know how he come through the winter. And Brad Hogg up there, he posted a little video, but I haven't had time to watch it for him. How he's
he's got quite a few that are living.
Yeah.
I think so far he said he's got 26% loss.
Yeah. Well, better than he done last year. He had about a
Yeah.
86.
98% he said last year.
Yeah. He got plenty of hives.
He took his bees out of the barn and set them out in the yard, let them crap for a couple of hours, and then he moved them back in again.
Well, there's Amarillo Tech. Amarella Tex has got a question there.
Yeah.
For somebody that's got swarm traps. I don't put them out. I'm not going to put out any this year anyway.
I got some out. I always put a few. I used to put a bunch, and I've got twice as many hives as I want.
Yeah, it's been much my trouble.
And
I got rid of 20 here about a month and a half ago. So I got rid of 20. So, and I still got too many. Russell Koopman says Brad come out with about 75 alive. So he was down to nothing. He got him back up over 100, I think. He got 75. He done pretty good, I'd say.
Two's plenty. You got 3 on a frame. 3's all right. A lot of times, if I got multiple frames with multiple cells on them, I may just pull it, put it somewhere. Even if I just pull another couple of frames of nurse bees with it.
Yeah. Steve, I do 50-50. Yes, I get all my wax mastic down there in your direction down there at Knoxville. And it'll get out of kilter when you add to it. But they're about 20-pound blocks and you'll put one in, but I try to keep it pretty close to 50-50 if I can. If I'm going to be strong one way or another, I'd be strong on like 60-40 on the wax side. That's the way I mix it. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, but that's the way I do it. I cook mine a lot longer than a lot of folks. I run it about 270 to 300. I go for 15-20 minutes. If I don't have a lot of pieces, I'll go for 20 minutes. If I got a lot of pieces, I'll cut it down to 15. That's my formula. That's the way I do it. For better or for worse, richer or poorer. That's the way I do it.
Y'all got an answer for this question?
Yeah. I like the screen boards with mated queens or without them. Either way, I like to use the screen boards. Double screen boards. Snow grow, whatever you want to call them. That's my thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, where she's mated or a virgin or just a sale, I kind of treat it all the same, as far as making splits.
This is more whatever. Well, that's a good answer, I guess, DC.
Yeah.
They didn't like your boxes, Chuck. That's all I'll say. And they may be back in a few days. Some of them scout bees will, in my opinion, they'll check them out and they may leave them for you won't see anything around and then come back in a week or two and you may have a box full of bees.
Well, that goes back to what I was saying earlier. They might have not been here.
Yeah.
But you get boxes busy with scout bees, and then all of a sudden they won't be busy no more.
Yeah.
What it is, that one swarm may have scouts at 20
Yep.
different places.
Yep.
And when they finally decide where they're going to go, all those boxes that looked busy with scouts just dwindle down to nothing.
Maybe they haven't voted yet. You read that Tom Seeley
Yeah,
book, Chuck. You read that Tom Seeley book. They vote on
yeah.
different places.
Yeah, they
Maybe they
vote
have.
on it, then they bring it to the board of trustees, and they'll decide what they're going to do.
Maybe they haven't voted yet.
Yeah,
And there's a lot to that. That's pretty good reading if people aren't familiar with it. Tom Seeley's Honeybee Democracy.
yeah.
Good book.
So many people think the queen actually is running the show.
Well,
She's just an egg layer. Every time my wife gets there and in front of these classes and starts talking about the queen, and she's doing this and she's doing that, and somebody will say, well, they the queen is telling them what to do. I said, no. I said, I disagree. Then she'll ask me, she said, well, what do you think? Like she didn't know what my answer was. She said, what do you
hey
think?
there, Michael.
Well, I said,
How you doing?
those bees in that colony is running the show. They just telling her where to go. You watch that little circle, they'll move her around where they want her to be.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mike.
How you doing?
Got all that snow gone up there yet?
Oh, it's snowed today. A little
Not
bit.
today.
Yeah, rain,
Right.
snow, sleet.
Yeah. Well, I can't say as I envy you. I'm glad winter's about over, I hope, for all of us.
I don't have to worry about swarming right now.
Yep. Yeah, we're busted out here. Everything.
That's a good question, Philip. One of the commercial guys by me, when he's replacing a queen,
Too often.
not necessarily a split, but if he's replacing that queen, he pinches her and drops her down in that hive and sticks that cell right where that queen landed. He'll even take that dead queen and rub her all over that new queen's cage
Mm-hmm.
and say they fought and she won. I don't know if
Well,
it's
he's also letting that new queen know if she don't lay, what's to happen to her.
yeah.
I bet she comes out that cage laying her ass off.
I would just say you could add her when you wanted to, but just your time release is going to take care of it anyway. About 5 days or so.
Yeah. If she's made it in a cage, I assume he's not just gonna release her.
Now, virgin queens, I'll release them in the door or just on top of a frame.
Yeah.
But that's not to old bees. That's to a nuke I pulled out, a split I pulled off, and it doesn't have anything but a bunch of nurse bees.
My old pappy kept a few bees. He's an old time beekeeper. That's who I kind of learned from. He wanted to wait 2 hours. He timed them. 2 hours. He'd drop another one in. He was replacing. He'd kill the other one and wait 2 hours and put in a new one. And some people tell you, some people say hold off at least 4 or 5 days. Say they'll come there accepting the queen. What do you think, Michael? You got an opinion on that?
It depends on if it's a laying queen. Laying queen, you can run it right in.
Yeah.
But if it's been sitting on the counter for a few days, you can't.
Yeah. That's basically what Joey's saying there. You can drop her in. Like I said, my dad always said 2 hours. I don't know why he chose that, but that's that's what he always done.
So, Joey, do you always beekeeping barefoot and Crocs?
Almost always.
Geez, you're all worried about your wrist. I'm going, what about your feet?
I don't know what it is about that little band that goes around that thumb. There's something about that. I don't know what it is. Now, it might have just got stung one time accidentally, and I need to wash that pheromone off. But something about the way that texture of that band is or something, they go after it. And I tried to do like Philip and put it under that rubber glove, but my rubber gloves won't fit over that heavy sleeve.
We talk about your rubber band you stick over your finger or thumb or something.
Yeah, yeah.
I
For
just cut
some
'em
reason,
off.
I don't know if they're getting caught or pinched up in that, and then they stinging, or they just attacking it. I think they're getting hung up in it.
My new Sting Stopper has a nice Velcro closer. I
Yeah,
don't even know if it has the finger loop.
yeah.
Yeah, but those sleeves though, I've tried to do it without them, and I get to working and they slide up above those gloves. When I ordered those gloves, it said it had an extra long uh, a length to them, but they're not that long. They don't come far enough up.
So they don't bother your feet at all, huh?
Oh, I get one every now and then, get trapped in there.
He's usually
I
got.
was watching you this morning. I'm sitting there. He has Crocs on,
Yeah, he's
and
usually
he's
out
worried
there.
about the bees going up the sleeve.
That's almost a trademark. I probably used Crocs for last several years.
Haven't heard from Philip and answer your question. He's out there politicking out there in Colorado in the mountains, out there
Yeah,
in the West Cliff, Colorado.
they probably having a blast right now.
Yeah, probably out there drunk or laying out there drunk someplace. Honky tonkin'.
Me drunk?
I'll smoke him out. I'll go ahead and salt him a time or two if he's listening. I'll smoke him out.
That's what I got, Guardian. And it's that I don't know what it is.
Maybe it's a smell.
You
I
got one of
probably
them brown sting stoppers, have you?
I got the greenish, greenish brown.
Yeah, greenish brown. Looks, I call them brown. I've got one that could stand on its own. It's got so much honey and pollen and stuff on it. I've used it for 2 or 3 years. I can just stand it up. I don't have to put it on or off. It's, it's almost stiff. I need to wash it. Too lazy. It's raining every place, Pete. Rainy. Probably raining at their home too. They were home.
they should have did a live on that. That would have been a good one to watch.
You'll probably get a chance to see it. I wouldn't be surprised. I guess maybe Brian Zavadas was speaking at that. I don't know.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of funny, Joey, that every time you see a hive beetle, you say, "I'll be right back."
I'll be right
Apparently,
back.
you don't want your videos taken down anymore.
You got put in beetle jail, you know.
Yeah. I think so many people do it and nothing ever happens. And like I say, the video that short came from is still out there. But I think if I'd have started that video with a warning, insects are being killed in this video, nothing would ever happen. I think that's the real policy that I broke. it wasn't killing the beetle. It was not telling people what I'm doing or why I'm doing it.
They sent you a message.
Oh, he
Yeah,
took his video down.
they took the video down and sent a message too. A little short.
Mm-hmm.
Put him in bad boy school. Time out.
Just for smashing beetles.
Yeah, I was stomping them.
He was tap dancing.
It only lasted like 2 hours. I posted it before I went to a ball game, and that thing took off. I said, "Good gracious, this one's gonna go," and it was up to like 2,000. And about 2 hours later, or an hour later, it was
Mm-hmm.
up to 2,000. And I went to the ball game, and as soon as I got back, I told my wife I'm going to check and see where I'm at with that short, and I had that flag up there telling me uh, that they removed my video. It was against their policy. It said it wasn't a strike against me. It was just a warning, and I could do I could watch a training video on YouTube, and do something else. I forgot what it was, but I'd done those two things, and it would disappear in 90 days. The warning would, and it disappeared. But
Are you monetized?
yeah,
Is that why they did it? Because
nah,
I
I
crushed
don't know
beetles
because
and
it said something about violence in there. But I went and read their rules, and I think the only kind of rule that I may have broken was the one without any kind of warning that insects are being killed. I don't know, but like I said, the original video is still up there. If you go watch it, you'll see me stomping those beetles. But I
Mhm.
cut it out and added music to it and said, and the title was, I ain't got no rhythm. And I was playing that music and stomping those beetles, and they made that thing disappear.
Got another little question there, Joy, not from Armadillo, Tex there. On open air colonies. Nobody knows why they do it. They just that's because they're bees, I guess.
I always tell everybody when they get to talking about absolutes, I said there's only one absolute that I know about in beekeeping is that bees always live in a colony, in a cavity, unless they don't.
Yeah.
That's an absolute. But I don't know why they do that. I think it's just not being able to find somewhere to go sometimes. Is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
But in my and talking about that, in my little video that I play when I open the little opener, you see me and my wife there removing bees out from under a swarm trap. Those bees moved under that swarm trap
Yeah.
several comb, good sized comb. And I thought they were actually in the trap too, but they wasn't. They wasn't 200 bees in that swarm trap. But that was an open air. It was just under the swarm trap.
Hmm.
And another part of that video where I'm laying down vacuuming, they're up under a trailer, and it was almost like a open air. It had that stuff had kind of fell there, that underlay or whatever they got under those trailers. It was kind of sagging. But I don't know what makes them do that.
But Joey, I got to head on out. I'll see y'all later.
All right.
Not
See you,
bad.
Brad.
Thanks for stopping.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
Appreciate you coming in.
All right. Bye bye.
Well, I hadn't been in a hive in over 24 hours, so I don't know.
It's what it is. It just things are popping around here, but that's about as far as it goes. I
Yeah.
don't know what I've told you about everything I've done in the last.
Oh, maybe the first part of this coming week I'll get to go and look at some of my colonies and see if the new queens has flown out and got mated and made it back. See if I got some 25 queens out there.
Is that you a magnifying grafting light there beside you there, Mike? No, up here in front of you. Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
It was just. I buy a lot of old tools.
Oh, I got you.
Except for the fluorescent bulb died in it, and
Yeah.
I can't seem to find one for it.
That almost looks like a dentist light.
Well, I do most of my own dental work.
Okay. Well,
I went. I think it was a week ago. We went up to. We were just doing wellness checks on some hives, and I got a call from the homeowner that the felt paper had blown off. He tried to repair it. The covers were off. The bricks were flung around. We had some serious winds. So we went up there, and I brought my stethoscope, and I put it right down inside the hive. And I'm tapping on it. All I can hear is the wind whistling. I said, well, all three of those are dead. They were doing. So we went up last weekend, and I just ripped the felt paper off, and without even thinking, I just pulled that middle one apart. It was full of bees, to my surprise. I just couldn't hear it with the wind howling.
Yeah.
But the other two were dead on either side, but they were both yellow queens. So they were going on year 4. Probably should have changed them, huh?
Who knows?
Maybe.
It's a not super time in my area yet. I don't know.
Yeah. Not really here yet either. It's getting close, though.
Yeah.
I say getting close. It's getting close to that time of year, but the flow just ain't ready for that. I'm kind of curious what all flow we did lose. We had to lose something during that last freeze we had.
One thing I've always wondered, you talk about those waggle dances. Now, they show them waggle dances out in the open, which you got the top off the hive and so forth. How does them bees see that waggle dance and know which direction to go when that hive's all closed up and it's dark inside there? Well, I want somebody to answer that question.
They must can see at night. They must can see good or something. That's all. Because according to the scientists, she starts straight up.
Yeah.
That's representing straight up.
Mm-hmm.
And then she does her little wiggle this way or this way.
I know how they say that it all happens, but and you see them display that when you got the box open, but when that box is closed up, I want to know how the bees could see that waggle dancer.
Kind of like getting you information out of a bar room, ain't it?
I always wondered I wanted somebody to tell me how the brother bees could see that waggle dance in the dark.
You ever see them when they seem like they're not paying attention, and that waggle will get right on the other one and shake it?
Yeah. Yeah, they could do that in the daylight, but they don't do it in the daylight. Supposedly, that hive is closed up. I never could figure that out.
I wish my grandson would have had this information when me and Mike Berry rode up to a Mississippi club where Dr. Jeff Harris was talking,
Mhm.
and I had mentioned to him uh, uh, they my grandson had entered a science fair showing how bees. The whole concept was about how bees hone in on certain shapes. They'll use shapes to to hone in on where their home is or whatever they're after. And what he did, and y'all have heard me talk about it probably here. I think he put like 5 jars of water up. It was 5 or 6. All of them were just regular water, tap water, but one was sugar water. And each jar had a different shape laying on top of it, like a piece of wood, or I don't forget what we used. But one would be like a circle. Another one was built. Uh, I can't remember now what it was, like a hexagon shape or whatever, and another one. Every one of them had a different shape on top of it. And he started off with the sugar water here, and we marked a couple of bees. I marked one blue and one seemed like it was white or whatever color. And we watched them and timed them as they came back. And when they got kind of on a regular uh, trip, he moved that sugar water to the center. But that shape stayed with number one area. And that blue bee and that other bee kept coming back to that first one 2 or 3 trips. And they would come to it, and then they'd work their way over to each one of them till they found that sugar water. And then after about 3 trips, he figured out, or she figured out, hey, I need to start coming here. So she honed in on the shape of that one, and then he moved it all the way to the end. And no, I'm sorry, he left it there, but switched the shapes around. And that bee came back to that shape that she had honed in on, right back to that first one again, where she was honed into the middle shape. When he moved them, she came to that shape, which was on the first jar. Am I
Yeah.
confusing y'all yet?
Nope.
But she came to that shape. Now, I said all that to say this. Dr. Jeff Harris says not only do they do that by shapes, but those bees that find it, once they tank up and get ready to go back, he said, did you notice that bee would fly around that area when it took off? And I said, yes, it did. It made like 2 circles and then leave. And he said, she is leaving a pheromone there after she tanks up to where she know where to come back to. So she's using a pheromone and a shape to come back to that area. I thought that was pretty interesting. And it probably really confused her when the shape and the smell wasn't together. She knew it was there somewhere.
Well, Philip, all I can tell you is that Tommy Sauceman could call him for miles around. He's quite the politician, quite the talker also. We're lost without Tom today. He could keep the conversation going where we wanted him to or not.
Yeah.
I'm talking about you, Tommy. I hope your ears are burning.
Yeah, he said they was gonna be pretty busy even after it was over with, and they're behind us anyway. So
Yeah, a couple hours. I don't even know when where they're going. He's supposed to come out here next weekend. He says they want to steal some of my frames for some of their nukes. I think.
huh? Well, I wish you was closer. Or I wish I was closer to you. When you got ready to fire up some of that wax dipping stuff, I'd run up there and help just to get the experience.
No, you don't have to be very smart to do it. I can tell you that. I'm a perfect example. You'd be more than welcome anytime. Just come up and we get you some matting and dip your boxes and.
Yeah. Everybody says that wax dipping's dangerous. You catch stuff on fire. I said, well, I can do that frying a turkey too, and I used to fry several of them every year.
Yeah.
I fry several for Thanksgiving, several for Christmas. So frying with that
I've
grease.
caught it on fire before, but it's not. I wouldn't consider it highly flammable. It'll if you run it over and it runs down in the open flame, it'll flame up a little bit, but it'll
Kind
burn
of
up.
like alcohol, it'll just burn off the top, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So I've never had it at my dip tank on fire. It's always, if you get some fire from it, it'll be from it boiling over. I built this one. I had a big one, and it just took so doggone much wax that I just built. I made a smaller one, and I built it myself. And I should have put a catch trough around it. If you understand what I'm saying, so that
Yeah.
it wouldn't run down. And because I've got a big old boiler burner underneath mine, and it'll get. I can heat my.
I can tell you the best way to get rid of hive beetles. Move north. We
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
have them.
There's a few people on here. Well, they were on here. I don't know. Gunline Bees uses the peppermint candies. Oh, Hillbilly, he uses the candies. I
Yeah.
think Mike Berry tried it, but it didn't do enough for him.
Yeah.
Somebody else here might use them. I don't know.
Randy's tried them over there. Dirt roosters mess with him some. He had a big problem. Tim and Hannah use them pretty religiously. I don't have that big a problem. I have a few hive beetles on occasion, but not enough to cause it. Consider it to be a problem. If I see a hive beetle, or if I see 3 or 4 in a hive, I'll stick one of them beetle gels in there and put some diatomaceous earth or some oil, cooking oil in it.
Yeah.
I can usually keep them totally under control that way around me because I don't have big bunches of them. And you can make a murder sauce. I can give you. I can tell you about what's in it. I use eucalyptus oil and Crisco. Mix Crisco and eucalyptus oil. I say I could tell you. There's a couple other things that I put in it. I mix it up and keep it just smeared on the bottom boards in my hive boxes. That'll keep them under control. It won't control them, but it'll. I'd say it's kind of a preventative. If you look back onto the old, the Fat Bee Man, what was his name? Beermeister, or the Georgia guy that used to put out all the videos? He came up with that formula for that stuff. You look back on some of his old videos, that's what a lot of the old school people use.
I can't remember his name.
Don?
Don the Fat Bee Man.
Beermeister, something
Yeah.
like that. He's down there, but northeast of Atlanta. He's not too far from Bob Benny, actually. I'd say 40 or 50 miles at the most. He's been at it a long time. He had some health problems. I don't know if he's still that active or not.
He had oh well. Oh, it's the pretty one. Oh,
I wouldn't put that up to a vote either.
y'all finished?
What?
Y'all finished?
We just got in from,
Wow.
guess what? What did we just get in from, JW?
Oh, eating, of course.
We did. We just got
Oh,
in from
okay.
eating dinner.
Scoot over, lady.
We were eating dinner with Brian from Flower Street Farms and John Mitchell, Westcliff, and Mr. Ed, and Jim Masucci.
And KT Town.
Where'd y'all go eat?
I forgot about
Where'd y'all go eat?
An Italian place called Papa's Pizza or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I bet with Tom and Jeff Horsharf up there, both the same crowd, I bet nobody else could get a word in, could they?
We had to put them at separate ends of the table.
That'd be
I
pretty
don't know. For a person so small, Jeff Harchoff can put away some groceries.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. He put away a whole, and it was a pretty good sized calzone.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
that
it was
thing had-
huge.
that was a chunk of pizza.
Poor Jeff though. We kept him up late last night, and and tonight, way past his bedtime.
Yeah.
Is his wife with him?
Nope, he's by himself.
Oh, man.
So
Me and my wife went and eat tonight. Oh,
So did he go home tonight? He's
who?
Jeff. Is he going home tonight? Or?
Tomorrow morning.
Yeah. I'm surprised he missed church.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
he probably found somewhere to do mass this morning.
I'm sure.
But me and my wife went and eat seafood. I ate a bunch of crawfish after I filled up with regular catfish, and she ate a bunch of crab legs.
Well, that sounds good.
So I was walking backwards on the way to the car, and she was walking sideways.
I like what you did there.
Hi, Clay.
Come on, Philip. Beetlejuice, seriously? I was even texting him earlier, showing him the love.
Yeah, today was good. We're in Colorado. Well, not obviously, some people might know, but we came to Colorado for the conference out here, Pueblo County Beekeepers Association. So they had Tom Seeley on Zoom, Fred Dunn on Zoom, Randy Oliver on Zoom, but then they had Brian Zavada, obviously in person, Mr. Ed in person, Jim Masucci in person, and then KT Thompson talked about honey show stuff. She was in person also. So it was a good workshop.
Well, there was another gentleman that spoke earlier today that I didn't know. He's from semi-local to the area.
Oh yeah, Don Hall.
Yeah, Don Hall. He's a small guy.
Well,
he's a big guy.
Small commercial though.
50 hives, so I mean.
I thought he had more. Anyway, whatever.
Not that Hall from up there in New England, is it? Who did you say his name is?
Don Hall.
Oh yeah, no, he's from Canyon City.
There's a pretty big younger guy that's pretty good size commercial. He's up in there around Mike someplace.
Yeah, Troy Hall.
Yeah, Troy
Yeah,
Hall.
Troy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked to him the other day.
Yeah, this is Dan Hall. I think he's actually originally from Texas, is what the thing said, but is based out of here now.
Well, I hope you learned something. You're smarter now, and you can teach me something new that you get. You think?
Well, I don't know. We'll find out.
So when we were up here last year in June for the state event out in Rifle, Colorado, which is basically past the Continental Divide, all the way out west, past toward the west side of the state, we met a guy named Derek Manis. His operation is Colorado Mountain Honey, and he runs like 4,000 hives. So what was interesting is we met him last year and talked to him a lot. He's a really personable guy and just very gracious because he let us dig into his hives for our teaching aspect last year. And, I don't really like going through people's hives without permission, right, or whatever. And he's like, Tom, he goes, you do whatever you have to do in those hives. So a really great guy, really gracious. And when I seen him there at the conference, I walked up to him and immediately the guy already knew who I was. And he goes, yeah, I didn't know you were coming. So anyway, but it was just fun to meet these guys and talk to them, understand their experiences that they had this last year coming into this year, because he experienced some heavy loss. I'm probably 65% or so, and he was running 4,000 colonies. But anyway, a real hustler and go-getter.
And he's in his late 30s, early 40s.
He's 42, he said.
42.
So anyway, he's always supporting of the local bee clubs and things like that the best that he can with as busy as what he is. So it was fun to get to talk to him, and he invited us out at any time. He said, come on out, we'll go get in the bees and have a fun day. So anyway, that'd be
Who was that, Philip? I mean, not Philip. Who was that, Tom?
Oh, his name is Derek Manis, Maness, I think, Manis.
Well, I got a message for him. If he would have watched my lives, he would have knew you were going to be there.
That's true.
I don't think this guy is so busy. I don't think he does much besides be in the bees and then hang out with his young kids.
Yep. I guarantee this guy, all he does is work. And work some more. And then work some more and then hangs out with his family, his young family. I don't think this guy's a TV watcher.
You see Philip's comment there?
We said Beetlejuice.
Hive Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Oh, I see that now. That's funny.
I thought you saw it earlier.
I was messaging Philip earlier today when Brian had given his presentation. He worked one of Philip's slides into his presentation, and I sent a couple pictures to Philip, and I'm like, "You're getting props all the way out here in Colorado."
It was his. It was a picture of his double nuke box with the masonite board that goes in between, slides down. Because Brian was talking about nukes and having nukes in for resource hives and stuff like that.
Yep, modified twin frame equipment.
Yeah.
Here's Brian earlier today.
Hold up.
It's Brian giving his presentation, and he highlighted.
Well,
if you can look on the side of the box there, the RTX. There it is, Philip. He paid you homage.
Got the RTX and the whole bit on it, didn't it?
Sure did. Yep. Phillips at RTX.
Philip's going to owe him a shelf.
I think so.
Well, not only that, but so we were down here hanging out with John Mitchell with Westcliff and found out that Philip shipped him some of his honey shelves.
Mm-hmm.
And they were actually being delivered this weekend while we're down here. Like, maybe we'll just steal one of John, because I think John ordered 2 of them.
I don't know.
Like, maybe we'll just steal John's delivery and take that home with us.
Did it clear the room?
It's hard to get in your carry-on.
That's right.
About 4 foot long, aren't they?
Yeah, it was. They look like they're decent size.
You know, I bought a set of oxen yolks home from Phoenix, Arizona. I bought out there to sale in a golf bag one year.
Yeah.
Sure did.
I mean, you could check it as a bag. I'm sure. Put it in something that's.
It was gonna be my carry-on. I mean,
yeah.
People bring guitars and fishing poles and stuff like that as their carry-on, right? I could
guns.
Bring a few.
That's right.
Few RTX shelves home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good event.
Well, you've got diarrhea mouth over here. He can keep you busy. I'm going to get me some more coffee.
Hey, I got coffee too. How about that?
Might not be as good as his coffee.
Probably not. This is hotel lobby coffee.
Yeah.
Did it clear the room?
Mr. Big Mike, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How about you?
You're wonderful. How's the weather breaking up there for you up north?
Today was rain, sleet, and snow.
Oh.
But we had some nice weather. I got to do a wellness check and put some Hive Alive on the nukes. Then all the covers blew off. I had to go around and find them.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, but they were just hiding right under that Hive Alive.
Yeah. The thing that I've noticed about that Hive Alive is when you get into those colonies at the beginning of spring, is it's not the Hive Alive, it's that plastic bag. All the hive beetles hide in the seal. And so you just come with your hive tool and you can just slide. If bees weren't under it, you could just slide and kill so many hive beetles. They like hide up underneath all that plastic. I've noticed that in ours anyway.
You fill up down here. Maybe I'll hang out a day longer.
Tom, have you started splitting yet? We're going to start splitting next week when we.
Well, this coming week, not next week. This coming week, I delayed the queens until the following Monday. I was looking at my weather a little bit, and it's not going to cooperate as much as I wanted it to. So I delayed them till Monday, which I don't care. I can still build them above my double screen board and set them up.
Where's your queens coming from?
North Florida, near Jacksonville. Yeah, I actually just when I landed was at the airport picking up the car Thursday morning, and I don't know. I end up hanging out at the airport at the car rental parking lot for probably about an hour, having a couple conversations. One of them was with the queen breeder and logistics and all that good jazz. So we had some good talks and conversations, and I think I landed me another speaker for St. Louis coming up in May. So going to talk about some queen rearing and have a hands-on class and later on in July.
Do you replace the queen in the mother hive every year, or do you try to keep her and just slow her down?
So
and make nukes with the new queens?
Yeah. So what we started doing, I think it was probably 2 years ago. After 1 year, I felt like I had colonies that were kind of failing midsummer. And then we decided to make, still at that point, a few years back where you really don't want to remove a queen or kill a queen out of compassion. And then you start to realize it'll really start to cause your operation to suffer a little bit and cause you some problems and some time management issues if you don't replace a queen that is starting to fail a little bit. So we just started to this will be the third season where we are just replacing and not having queens older than 2 years. Last year, some got replaced, and sometimes the queen won't make it past a year. We'll work again, depending on what things look like.
Yeah, some people are fast to kill a queen because the colony's not growing, but sometimes I've learned that it's a timing thing. When she got ready to start really laying at her peak, something might have happened and slowed that colony down or that area. It might have been that she was mated at a specific time when the flow was stopping.
Mm-hmm.
And we blame it on the queen, but it's not really her fault. So I like to actually give them a little bit of time. But that's a little different from what you're talking about. But
yeah, no, I think you're not wrong, Joey. I think it's kind of one of those things where being able to recognize certain cues that come up. Is it a nutritional deficiency where they're slowing down, or maybe the queen's laying, but they're cannibalizing right behind her, or maybe it's, maybe it could be another upset or problem in the colony, that again, may not be related to her directly. But we had 1 year where I felt like I was having a bunch of swarming. I was behind on everything, and it was swarming.
It was last year.
No, it wasn't. It was a couple years ago. And then that's when we made a couple of changes at that point. So JW likes that. It wasn't last year.
I'm going to have to go back and record that.
Yeah.
That look.
We had plenty of swarming last year. It was like every time we went to a yard, oh, wait, there's bees hanging in the tree.
There was 2 yards that happened in, but it wasn't like we had a couple of years ago.
We'll agree to disagree.
Oh, there, Randy. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Thank you very much. We'll just agree to disagree on this one and move on. Next.
No, it's not.
Good response there, Randolph. Straighten him out. He needs somebody to pinch his ears.
Hey, we're supposed to be going out to visit JW Saturday. Don't make him get on you when we get out there.
Oh, that'll be fun. I don't care if he does. He knows that.
Your old buddy came out.
JW fly down and pick me up when next time he goes to wax dipping. Just
that'd be fun.
Pick me up.
Heck yeah, that'd be fun.
I can Uber back home. Just come pick me up.
He might be sleeping down in the lobby tonight, guys.
Get out of here. She knows better than that.
Your old buddy showed up this week.
Yeah.
Drug all that dirty side, nasty stuff over here. Then
Where is he tonight?
He went home that night.
No, I mean on the chat.
Well, I know Matt went back that night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, his woman.
We made 2 hives. It rained all day.
Oh, it rained.
Oh, it did.
It rained again today all day. It was coming through in bands. I lit my smoker 4 different times.
Oh boy.
You know, the time I'd get ready to start to open up a hive box, why it'd go to rain again. It'd be rain for an hour or so, and the smoker would about go out, and I'd little opening to come through, and I'd light my smoker and get ready to start. Never did get through them hives, so I'm gonna try to get to them maybe tomorrow, next day, hopefully. But they're talking about a chance of rain here next couple of days. You know.
Well, it's supposed to be bad storms in our area tomorrow.
Sunday. Oh yeah.
Tomorrow is Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah.
There's a chance of it. Most of that stuff looks like it's gonna. You know, I shouldn't say this. Looks like it's going to go north, stay up there on 70 where it belongs. I hope. So.
Yeah, I don't want any more catastrophic weather near our house.
Yeah.
There was way too many close calls. What, 2 weeks ago? No.
2 weeks.
No.
When's them queens supposed to be up here?
They will be. Well, the first initial round come in on Monday, a week from this coming Monday.
Oh, it's a week from Monday. Okay.
Well, I originally had them scheduled for this next week, but I postponed them, and he didn't want to mail them later toward the weekend, and it was probably experience talking. He said, I don't like to mail them too close to the weekend because if something happens, even though they're next day aired shipped, if something happens, you don't want them sitting at the post office. And I'm like, no, because we have 120 queens coming up here just the first week, and there's 100 coming the second week. So yeah, I don't want that catastrophe.
The first set's ours, and the second set is the club's, right? I
don't know if they'll do it there. If you've got them before by mail in there at you got a post office right there, Lavity?
Yeah.
Well, they would come to the Gray Summit post office, but yeah.
A mile from my house.
If you go up there and talk to them people, they might call you when they come in.
She would. Yeah, well, I'm friends with her. She'll let us know.
Yeah, she's a really nice lady. She has Melissa's contact information because we were looking for something before that was coming in, and she's like, "Well, just give me your number." She goes, "I'll call you if something comes in." So it's really nice having a small local post office with the same people in there. That'll take care of you.
It's good to know somebody in the post office because it is bureaucracy.
Sure.
4 times over.
Yeah.
Now, they could call me at this post office 7 miles from me. We have live bees here for you to come pick up. All right, I'm on my way. Well, we're about to close. I can be there in 10 minutes. Well, we're closing in 5. They don't have anybody there that cares.
Mm-hmm.
And my mailman would care if he, if I could get in touch with him to go get them and hold them outside for me, he would do it. But none of those others would care. That's the big issue with the post office.
Yep.
I think these bees though are coming UPS, not USPS, right?
I hope so.
That's a good question.
Most of them I've ever seen is UPS, but I do know some get them USPS.
We have had some come USPS before, but not a large quantity of them. Brian, you should come on and tell everybody about your experience.
Yeah, Brian, come on. Tell us about your experience.
Cody, I've done it a few different ways. So I'll tell you a lot of the way we've made splits is if we get, I'm running mainly Italians, and everybody knows Italians are brood monsters. They don't quit. They'll build quickly, and they can get away from you very quickly. So I've actually made it a few different ways. So I don't have one designated way that I replace queens every single year. I
got to catch a dog. I'll be back.
Okay. Melissa and I have done a lot of different things. We've tried things. I'm not afraid of trying new things,
Not 100 at a time.
Yeah, not 100 at a time. and I have a special method I'm working on for that specifically, and I'm happy to explain it. But, if you get to some colonies and they built some swarm cells, we've always been in the mode of increase. So that's not a big deal. I don't have to go in there and kill swarm cells to keep the queen in the colony to produce honey. I mean, yes, we have a lot of honey customers now, but that's not my main focus. I don't really care about that. So a lot of times what I'll do is if I see that, what I will end up doing is moving the original queen, depending on how far along those cells are. Maybe I'll make a split with her, put her off to the side, let her grow up, and then, go in and cut out some queen cells, put them in the incubator, and I can hatch out a bunch of virgins that way. Now I will say if it's a colony that I don't want to increase numbers by because of something we don't like about them, I'll just kill all the cells on it, So I've done a lot of different methods, but like particularly with making splits, all those are being done over a double screen board. And I'll be introducing queens, but because of our weather being a little bit less cooperative this next week, I'm going to separate all the brood that I don't need inside my colony right now above a queen excluder in the second box. And then I'll wait till later on in the day or the next day, come back and I'll pull all that excess off that I don't need. And I'll use that for making all my nukes.
Well, no, you're going to replace the queen excluder with a double screen board. And then when we are ready to make the nukes, when the queens come in next week, then well,
technically I'm building a nuke inside of an 8-frame box above a double screen board, is what I'm doing. And that's, so I'm not worried about having excess undrawn frames in there because they'll obviously thermal regulate off the parent colony. And then it'll be a couple days before, potentially, depending on how much I get down in the bee yard. So probably be working in the rain a little bit as long as it's not too cold.
With those, though, we will have to go through and get rid of all the
queen cells.
Depending on what the queen cells look like, though, we may take them, cut them out, take them home and incubate them. It just kind of depends.
Yeah.
Depends on what tools that we have with us and at the time and whatnot. So
yeah. So Cody, I'll say I don't have a specialized way that I do it. It depends on the time of the year and the situation that I'm presented with, and how much time that I have at that point. Sometimes I'll just carry a lot of nukes with me at that point in time with extra comb in it or frames. And if I see the need to make a split, I'll make splits right there on the spot. So it really depends on my situation that I'm presented with, I guess. Hey, Brian, where are you at? Are you in the background?
He said he'll come on in a minute, and he might be in the background, but Joey had to walk off to let the dog out.
Brian, I can't bring you on. I don't have that screen in front of me. If you're there, I'll ask the question to JW. What is your preferred method there? You answer that question.
I'm a double screen board, man. You know that.
I'm telling you, I think after building all these, and see, you didn't think I would get them finished. The only thing that I have to do, fella, is I got to put the screens on there. That's all I got to do. So that'll be fairly easy for me.
He's trying to get that.
But I think I'm really going to like that method. And probably what's going to end up happening is I built 71. I had 6 additional, so I'll have 77 that I can utilize.
I think you had 8.
Yeah, you won't need all of them, I don't think.
Oh, I'm telling you, I will use every single one of them. Promise you, because I'm going to leave them over that double screen board until they're about ready to go. So my goal is 3 weeks to be done, and the nuke be ready to move after that. Now, I am using mated queens, by the way. I'm not letting them rear their own cells. I'm using mated queens. So 3 weeks I should be done.
How about you, Mike?
Oh, I usually just pull what I want up over a queen excluder. Let it republish and then just put them in nukes.
Mm-hmm.
Take them elsewhere.
That's basically the same thing.
I do have double screen boards occasionally.
Actually, it's not a lot of big difference.
Yeah, you're right.
Other than the fact that you, with the
That way, if it takes
you got the pheromones, you can't separate them.
Mm-hmm.
a couple extra days, you don't get the queen cells developing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy was talking with today, Derek, he said normally, and he's in Colorado. Okay. So, and he has, like I said, we're talking 4,000 hives. And I asked him, I said, how do you like to do things? Help me understand how you do things. Cause when you're managing 4,000 counties, now he has a lot of employees, but you're building efficiency into everything that you're doing. And so I like to understand that a lot and see how he does it. And he said most of the time, he completely splits all his hives apart But last year he did something a little differently, which he felt like he made a mistake on as far as not breaking them down as hard as what he should have, and that could have been the reason why he had was having a hard time getting mite loads under control.
Yeah.
So there's something to be said for that. Brood breaks, and whether you do that naturally by pulling a queen and use that as like an IPM, or you're making a bunch of splits, working that way. I think one thing that I'm going to do a little differently this year as well is after I introduce that mated queen, I make my splits. After that queen's accepted, and there's like going to be a small gap where all those brood frames will start to hatch out, and she started to lay. I think I'm going to run at least one round of oxalic acid vapor into those nukes before I get rid of them, so I can completely make sure that those colonies are clean. What do you think, Joe? You have a thought on that? You're muted.
I kind of came in on the end, in the middle of the story. I was trying to read what Clay had there. Catch up, so I can't answer.
No, I was just wondering about when building nucleus colonies. So whether you're using a virgin queen mated, the timing would be off a little bit. But building nukes and your all your cap brood that's in there, and then you introduce a mated. See, for me, I'm going to introduce a mated queen in there. There's going to be a short period of window where that queen will have to get accepted, right? And then any additional open brood will get capped inside the colony. And again, like I said, there'll be a period of time where that queen will get accepted. And I'm going to delay it a little bit. I'm not going to let it happen in 2 days. I'm going to probably delay it out to day 3, 4, maybe even 5 beyond that. And then when she does get accepted, starts to lay, and before the larvae get to the point to where they're going to be capped, all the other excess brood should now be opened up, and I'm going to shoot some oxalic acid vapor into those nucleus colonies to make certain that I have them cleaned up. And that's why I was saying, what are your thoughts on that?
On the vapor?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Well, you use vapor, don't you?
Yeah. I've got it with me if I need it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a good thing to do. That way, if it's going to somebody that does a lot of treating, they're ready for them too.
Yeah, so the queens that I'm getting actually come from pole line stock, and I really like the guy that I'm going to be getting these from this year. I had the opportunity last year, and people may have heard me mention this before in a couple of chats, but I had the opportunity to go through and deal with a lot of these queens, and Dennis and Melanie Cruz's bee yard there in northern part of Florida, because they have a lot of this gentleman's queens. And I got the opportunity last year to work with Dennis at his bee yard for, I think it was like 2 different days, a day and a half maybe. And we basically went through all of his colonies at that time. And he said a lot of his stock actually came from there, or he had been replacing a lot of stock with that. And honestly, those bees looked, and they were kind of in a dearth period at that time too. They looked really good. The patterns were solid. I seen a little bit, I didn't see like there was a problem there, but a little bit of hygienic behavior inside there, which is kind of what he is trying to propagate for. So, yeah, we're really interested in utilizing these and running with them. And I'm probably going to hold a few of these back myself and mark them and then run them in a bee yard for my own. And
what is that pole line? What does it come from?
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't know much about them.
I thought that originally developed out of the USDA lab. I think down there in your area.
Yep, Louisiana.
Yeah.
USDA.
Okay, that's them.
I don't know who was in charge of that program at the time.
I'm pretty sure that's correct. Don't take that for gospel now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good evening, Brian.
What's up, Brian?
Okay.
Is it sleep?
Brian, can you hear us?
Yeah.
I think
Can
you
you hear
come
me?
up.
Yes, we can. How's it going?
Good. How are you guys? I'm
Long time no
tired.
see.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
you're awful mellow.
Yeah.
Mellow, youngin.
I'm tired, JW. I'm
He,
trying to be
he's
quiet.
coming.
My wife-
He's crashing after his Hive from the euphoria of presenting this beautiful presentation today in front of, I don't know, 100 plus people.
I kind of thought that, Eddie, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it was a good
I
day. It
slept
was a lot
through
of
that
fun.
meeting.
Say that again, Brian.
Just it was a good day. It was a lot of fun. It's great to hang out with everybody. We got to hang out with Tom and Melissa, Jeff and Jim. That was a great time. I got to meet some Colorado beekeepers that I didn't know, that you kind of know on Facebook because they're really present. So that was really nice. I got to talk to, like, Don Hall, the first speaker, was one of those guys I've seen around on Facebook for years and years and years, but he lives down in the Pueblo area. We just never crossed paths. So I got great conversations with him. And then another guy from the Colorado Springs area. Again, saw him on social media a ton. Finally got to meet him and shake his hand today. So yeah, it was a really good time.
You know, one of the things that was kind of awesome for us to see is because last time we were here last year in June, we were just, you know, in the Denver area at your house, and then in Rifle, and then being here out where John Mitchell Westcliff lives out there in Westcliff, and here in Canyon City. The forage is like, it's like two completely different. It's like there's just like nothing out here. It's like dirt and sand, and there's like green up where you are. So
Yeah.
that's been, and it's not like it's that far away. What are we from your house here? A couple hours?
Yep. Yeah. So you probably have in Pueblo, where you guys are now, a lot more similar to what Denver and Lakewood are like. And then when you start to go into the mountains towards Florence,
I just looked up the elevation here in Canyon City, and it's 5,300 feet. Whereas John Mitchell with Westcliff is up, I think he's around 8,000.
Yeah.
And then when you go through it's a miniature pass, if you will, we were up around 92, I guess. But what's beautiful is the couple pictures that I posted on social media yesterday. There was those mountain ranges behind. Brian, help me remember, what's that called? The
Sangre de Cristo, blood of Christ.
Yes. And I think John said there's several 14,000 peaks behind where we were at. And unfortunately, it sounded like because the weather was a little warmer and the lack of snowfall, there wasn't as much snow on the mountaintops there while we were here.
And if other people are familiar with Colorado, John lives fairly close to the Sangre de Cristo Mountains on the east side, almost directly over that mountain range is where the sand dunes are. And then the San Luis Valley is in that area as well. Beautiful area, but really great example of how varied beekeeping is in Colorado. It's this change in elevation.
It's drastic.
Yep. So I've had pollen coming into my bees for 3 weeks since the end of, I think, February 21st was when I saw them coming in. Wow. John is still waiting for natural pollen to come in where he's at. His bees are flying. It was warm enough, but he had pollen sub and food out. Yeah. And Pete's a little bit different there. Pete's at 64 in Franktown. That's a different elevation than what we experience in the Denver metro area too. And not a lot of trees like we have in the Denver metro area.
That was kind of interesting to see. Because like in Missouri, it's pretty much the same top to bottom. I mean, like they're like down south, they have cotton and they might have different things to forage, but there's things to forage about the same time all the way up and down and across the state.
Yeah. And that's been one of the cool things about going to different clubs and speaking with different clubs is I've talked to people at different clubs and you hear them explain what it's like. But when you really go and you see the area, you see the rabbit brush and the mullein all around where John lives and all the pinyon pine and everything, it really helps you understand a whole lot better of what they're struggling with.
Yeah. Yeah, that
And the wind. Oh,
the
my
wind
God.
is insane. And he said there it gets well when we were walking through Westcliff and we were kind of visiting some of the little shops there, one of the shop owners was talking to us and he said that they can just out of nowhere start getting 100-mile-an-hour winds and they'll last for like a half hour and then it'll just be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's not an uncommon thing for something like that to happen. Like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Do you have any walkaways from any of the talks today?
Yeah, actually, I did. There's one thing that a presenter said today that I completely connected with, honestly.
Uh-oh.
And you want to know what it was? There was a guy that said, after his presentation, he said something that I won't forget, and I agree with this 1,000%. He says, you know, I hope
Tom
that
Sauceman, you
everybody,
talk too much.
I says, I hope that everybody took something away, some type of nugget away from this talks and the presentations that were given today, but equally as much, something that you don't need to, I'm paraphrasing here, forget is building the connections of people that you may not have built connections with before and networking. That was the one thing I'm like.
Who said that?
There's a guy that's from the Lakewood, Colorado area. His name is Brian Zavada, and he is the guy that downloaded that bit of information that I hope that everybody in there heard, honestly.
Man, you know, one thing I was a little disappointed with was the lack of engagement of people with each other. There was great speakers, great talks, very few questions at the end of every talk. So I kind of felt obligated to, all right, let's keep the conversation going. Let's model something. So I was asking a question to almost every speaker.
So I feel like that was a result of the way that the scheduling worked out, because they basically did 2 hours of talks before they gave anybody a break. And I think if there would have been a break in between each speaker, people would have been able to get up, network more. You know what? I think by the end of the 2-hour session, people were just done listening and they just wanted to get up and move. You know what I mean? They didn't want to sit there and keep asking questions.
It had good variety and balance in the topics, whereas some of them were science focused and some of them were practical, but most of the day was what I call sit and get. You sit in your chair and you get information, and that's okay, but all day long is really hard. So to balance that out with active stuff, even like 15 minutes in between speakers where people could go around and engage in all the stations, that would have been something that would have facilitated conversation between people.
Definitely.
And I probably saw a little bit more than you did. Like all the Jeffco Club people sat together, all the Brighton Club people.
Yeah, because we don't know really anybody, so we wouldn't, make that correlation.
So that's a little bit of where that comment came from at the end, is kind of a response to that feeling at the end of the day. There's like, we were at the meet and greet last night, and a couple people went up to Jeff and Jim and introduced themselves and had conversations, but there was a lot of people that either didn't know them or didn't feel comfortable enough to go up and talk. And here's all of us no-lifers who kind of get it by now. Like, here's your opportunity. Here's a chance to go up and talk to Mr. Ed or Joey Rawls or Mike Barry or Big Mike. This is your chance, and you want to take it. But
absolutely.
Hopefully we can build that a little bit more as we continue. But overall, I think it was a really good conference. And I didn't organize it. I just kind of helped with some ideas and was one of the speakers.
I'm a little disappointed in myself too, honestly, because I only met probably 3 or 4 new people there today. And but I guess really my main focus was just rekindling the relationships that I started last year, and visiting with those folks and stuff, because there were so many people. I mean, just for instance, like Kathy, KT, Derek, oh my gosh, who else? I'm the one forgetting. And just John, wanted to visit with John for a while, just those, and visit with you. So, I don't know. I didn't get out, and normally I'll go around and start shaking hands or making conversation with somebody here or there or what have you. But I'm just trying to I don't know, just visit with friends more is kind of what it was for me this time.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I found interesting, because that Jim Masucci said, is when he was talking about his single brood management. Because in my mind, single brood management is just they're in that one box all the time, and you just put supers on top of it, right? Well, I never, because he kind of explained it like, well, they're in that one box, but it was almost like, I don't want to say demerit because it's not, because he said something about adding that second box and then putting the queen excluder on it, and then putting that second box above the queen excluder and making that your first honey super as that brood hatches out. And then, just keep adding honey supers on top of that. And I found that to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And that video he referenced, that Ian Stepler video, the single brood chamber management explained, is a great example of how Ian kind of does the same thing, lets them build up and then splits off.
And he does
down to single brood chamber for the honey flow.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I never really viewed that as single brood management. Maybe I just, was just how he does his honey production. Because in my mind, single brood management is there's always just that single brood box.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think, I don't remember, it was you I said to, because I had asked Jim, I'm like, so do you put that second box back on them to go into winter so you have that extra food stored? He said no. And to me, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that, just because you never know.
Some people do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I because going into winter, like that second box for us is full of food stores.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the only modification to that I would do. I would go ahead and, after the honey flow, add that second brood box back on, but just for food store purposes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like the double brood box method because it buys me time and it's forgiving. That's exactly why I do it. And at this point in time, I've tried single before and it works fine. And but
we've never tried it that way.
I've tried it that way.
When somebody's in an area where the bees is going to stay in a cluster longer, a little honey on each side is probably enough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that because I'm in the hottest state in the dadgum South, or one of the hottest. But down here, you just, to make it easy on the beekeeper, you have to have two, where it's mediums or deeps.
I'll tell you, one of the walkaways I had was that Randy Oliver piece. He did his presentation on oxalic acid.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him the question because he talked about aluin caps and Viroxan, and he talked about his Swedish shop towels. And I asked him about the aluin cap and Viroxan hanging over the frames versus what he has going on top of the frames. And his comment, never thought of, kind of like what you just said, Melissa, I never thought of it, but it makes a lot of sense. You can't use the sponges on top when you're running single brood chamber because the bees don't have the space to walk over it and spread the oxalic throughout the colony. So these companies that are making, he didn't say this part, but this is what I inferred. Companies that are bringing it to market are doing it so it works for single or double brood chamber because of the way it's hanging over the front.
Yeah. Yep, that made perfect sense. I'm actually glad you asked those questions. I probably should have engaged a little bit more, but I thought when I was listening to you guys present, I'm like, well, if I had a question, like, I'll just go ask you or we'll talk about it later, but to create some dialogue, I probably should have.
Brian was the question asker dialogue creator today.
I'm going to post this in case somebody missed it. Okay.
Yeah, prayers, Kimberly.
Yeah.
The one thing that, and I think I said to you, Brian, one of the things that Randy had said was about the OA. You'll have to, because my mind is not working right now, but he said after doing the OA to then do like a follow, because the OA was more of like level, to keep things level, right? And he said to go ahead then to hit them with the formic or the thymol or the, whatever. And I was like, yeah, but we're hearing people say, and I think Bob Benny was one of them that had said, he said, don't use thymol and then OA.
No, this is what Randy Oliver said. It was doing a flash, was it the dribble, right at the same time he put the shop towels on. So it was two different ways of applying oxalic, and that was your question. Was it like what Bob Binney was saying on the
Yeah. I was kind of confused about that, what he was saying, because I'm like, that's like conflicting things to what I'm hearing, but I think I just like misunderstood what he was saying. So yeah.
Yeah, and I bet that comment would have come up like 20 minutes earlier if John didn't just get home.
No doubt. I'm surprised he's home already, to be quite honest.
I know, no kidding, man.
How fast did you drive on those mountains, John?
And that was a great walk. That was a great experience too. You know, I've never met John formally. We've been in a Zoom meeting before. We've been at the Bee Expo. Didn't get a chance to shake hands. It was great to finally meet John in person.
It was.
Yeah, John's great.
Yeah. John he like volunteered to like kind of host us out there. We didn't stay at his house, but he arranged something out there, which was pretty spectacular, honestly. You know? Hey, Brian, he drives pretty fast to those mountains, doesn't he?
Brian's like, I do too.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, hey,
our car would only go so fast.
Hey, did you see when I passed that tractor trailer out there when John passed and I did? I pulled out and I'm like, okay, where are the rest of the guts for this car? And I got that thing hammered down to the floor, and then a car is coming, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I figured Melissa had claws dug into the side of the thing, and she's like, oh boy, and I'm like, nope, here we go. And finally,
the Eastern Mountains is not the only one hauling precious cargo in their gas tank, huh?
Yeah.
Well, Tom, I'm glad you were the driver and it wasn't me.
Hey, it would have made for great conversation either way. Hey, Joey, I sent you a video that I took of the table. It's a short one, not long, probably less than a minute, that Brian had set up, which was honey. He brought a bunch of honey, a bunch of our honey. Yours is there. Oh gosh, I don't remember who all.
By our honey, he means YouTube chat people's honey.
Yeah, the groups. There were several people that he had there.
I spent a minute and did a quick video at the end as well, and I'll post that tomorrow. Yeah, okay. So I had a bunch of I had a U.S. map and pins and all different honeys. Had Joey's, Lee's, all across America that I've gotten from all the Bee Expo kind of stuff. Most of it was just tasting varietal honey. So I was gathering from people what they thought in the past week. Like I've texted people, what would you say your honey flavor is? And then I had a little plaque that describes the honey, describes the location and the beekeeper. And then on the West Coast side, because there weren't many West Coast representations, were the flavored and infused honeys. So Todd's creamed honey was over there, your bourbon honey, a couple of Carl's creamed and hot honeys. And yeah, it was fun. It was fun to get to. First of all, thank you everyone for being so generous with the honey swaps that allows us to do stuff like this. I know Charlie has done similar things with his bee club where he takes in the honeys and kind of does like a honey tasting thing. And it was a lot of fun. And honestly, not many people came to the stations because there weren't many opportunities to come to the stations. But whenever people did, they were really interested.
Yeah, they were.
It just creates a great conversation potential by having all those different honeys out there.
So I was thinking about your table and the way you had it set up. And I think I liked how you did all your little tables, you know?
Yeah.
One thing you could add to them is like a QR code for everybody's either Facebook page or YouTube channel or whatever.
I thought he did, actually.
No, I didn't. I should. That's a good idea.
That way, if they can get more information, not because we don't ship, I don't know who else does or doesn't ship, but at least if they wanted to like find out some more information about that specific company or, whatever.
Yeah. So what I did do, I didn't do that and I should have, and I will next time, But like for yours, I went to your website and I pulled your logo off and I put that there. If you had a business logo, I used that. People like Joey who didn't have a business logo, I picked a picture from their Facebook page that I thought represented them as beekeepers really well, and used that.
It looked
picture.
really nice. Brian did a really good job with that display.
Thank you. And what was weird was I actually set it up for a 3x6 rectangular table.
And you were at a round table.
And they got the round, so it was a little different, but it wasn't that hard to adjust.
They're always throwing curveballs.
Yeah, and Joey, I'm like the kind of guy where I set it up in my garage, and that's my way of making sure I have everything. I set the whole thing up like my display, and I'm like, oops, forgot that, and then packed it all up into the tub and threw it into my truck.
John, did you get your shelves in today by any chance from Philip?
His or ours?
I know. Did you get our shelves in? Can you bring them to us tomorrow?
Yeah, Carl, we had some of your honeys there tonight.
You
In
had
fact,
like
a lot
three.
of good feedback on the smoked honey. When people tried the 2 hot honeys, they definitely spoke out about the smoked honey in particular. Thanks, John. You know, John's kind of a quiet guy, but he's one of those behind the scenes guys. He did a lot of work for that conference as well. So
He was
John
one of the sponsors too.
Yep. He
yeah,
was a sponsor.
really great job.
I like all the thought that John put into his colonies out there, how he set them up, the configurations, and all of his forethought that he has out there with it.
Yeah. Thanks, John. Thanks for your help. John had a table right next to me where he had a little honey swap. So I think there were 12 different people who did the honey swap. So they did the little 2 ounces. And it was nice because if I had to go do something, I could trust that he would be there and help out anyone that needed help. But honestly, I set up the station so it was self-explanatory and people could kind of access it themselves. So if no one was there, they can still go up and try stuff.
And just for the record, I did cover your table once while you walked away. I just want to put that out there that I did step in for you.
Here you go.
And you were like, have you tried the bourbon honey? Have you tried the bourbon honey?
Try the bourbon honey.
They actually tried your lemon honey, Carl's honeys, ours, and somebody else's. I can't remember if it was Matt's blackberry honey. Or if it was Paul's honey. I can't remember. Nightlife beekeepers.
But what was cool about the display is and I tried to put them kind of proximal to where they are in the country, and just the color variations. And then you get down to the south and there are the 3 dark ones. And even Paul Hales, who was right down there with Joey and Lee, is way lighter than all the other ones. And
yeah, the early spring in Louisiana is real clear.
Yeah.
And then after that it starts getting darker.
Yeah. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. And I didn't get a chance.
Kind of similar to ours.
He was the only one I didn't get a chance to.
It was even twice as dark. It was real dark.
Yeah. So it was fun. Thanks for coming out, Tom and Melissa. It was a good time. We appreciate it. What I appreciate most is you guys putting your eyes on that conference. So when we think about how we can do good conferences and help run conferences, it's a reflective piece. So we can take what we experienced at EMBA and talk about it, what we experienced here, and think about what works and what doesn't work based on our situations.
Yeah.
In the same way with us, like that's one of the reasons we like going to these different conferences to see, oh, what are they doing? You know, because like at this conference they had, so at our conference, all the donations that we get in, we raffle those off. People buy raffle tickets and they can put their ticket in whatever box that they want to try to win. And we sell raffle tickets. At this conference, at this conference, they did a bunch of gift baskets with all the donations they received, and they did like a silent auction, and they had, I don't know,
a lot,
30 different gift baskets at least.
There's probably more than that.
Well, that just the baskets. And there were like hives and nukes and other things too. So I'm curious, and I asked John, I'm curious to know what they raised doing the auction versus what we raised doing the raffle, because that could be something that we could change how we do something, whichever way was more beneficial.
Yeah.
I think there's probably a lot more effort put into that the silent auction, because there's preparation and making those baskets than there was of what we put into doing the raffle. So there's also that to weigh out also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Melissa and I won a couple of those smaller, the silent auction deals or whatever. They had some gift cards there. And because I told Melissa, I'm like, don't bid on anything that we can't put in the cargo hold of the plane, And so jokingly,
it was Hilco gift cards.
It was Hilco gift cards. That's what we bid on, and we got those. So,
but we almost didn't get them because somebody tried to outbid us.
Oh, how dare them!
With the last name of Zavada.
She's giggling back there, by the way.
So what?
She's giggling in the back.
So I went up there to check it. I wasn't even paying attention to the name that outbid us. So I'm like, oh, whatever. It's not.
I didn't even see if Brian's name was on there.
Well, she put Brian on one and she put Jen on one.
Oh, I didn't even pay attention to that.
So I'm like, oh, whatever. We have enough stuff from John Hill. So I just went and sat back down. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go check this. And there was he said 15 seconds left.
Time out just a minute. We got a new guest here.
Yeah, Ken.
Welcome, Ken.
Hey, Ken.
You're not going to get anything in with the diarrhea mouse going over here.
Hey, it's her. I am not diarrhea mouse.
Yes, you are.
It's this one.
You don't stop, woman. You listen to yourself. Good evening, Ken.
How are you doing, Ken?
I'm good. I'm doing good. Yeah, in Kenya, Africa.
Oh, you're in Kenya.
Wow.
Very good.
Oh, maybe it's supposed to be Kenya.
Yeah.
So what is
you? Tell us about yourself as a beekeeper.
Yeah. I'm a beekeeper.
What is your weather like right now?
Oh, all right. I'm Kenya.
How's
the network
weather?
Here is bad. Oh, the weather in Kenya is now raining.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, here too.
So is it cold there right now? Is it warm? What's the season like there?
It's very cold. It's very cold in Kenya. Very, very cold. Very, very cold. But not that cold like your places there. Not that cold.
No snow.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Ken.
Thank you very much.
Well, I can't imagine that you would get too cold in Kenya because you're right on the
on the equator.
Right on the equator, right?
But it might just be cold as.
Did you ever hear of Kilimanjaro?
Your
Kilimanjaro's in Kenya, I think. Mount Kilimanjaro that's covered with snow on the equator.
Mount Kenya, yeah, it probably depends on
the Oh yeah. What is the elevation of Mount Kenya? Do you know that?
Yes. In fact, I'm very close to Mount Kenya. I'm just some 1 kilometer neighboring Mount Kenya. In fact, we have a project there inside Mount Kenya forest.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm just neighboring Mount Kenya. Yeah, just the other side there.
Do you know what the elevation of that mount is? The elevation, the height of that?
Is about 5,000 kilometers.
17,000.
That would be
17,000.
3,000, 3,500 in our footage.
Yeah. So 3 to 5 ratio.
17,057 feet.
No,
that's 16,000.
Oh, that's what it says it is. Well, that's
according to the Google. That's what it says.
Is that for Kilimanjaro though?
No, Kilimanjaro is 19,000.
Okay.
Ugh. So you're a bit higher than we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
What is so at that high? What is the forage like for your bees? What do they forage on?
Here we have enough forage. We are neighboring mountains, and then we plant sunflowers. And we have integrated crops. We have macadamia. We have avocados. We have different varieties. So yeah, we are where to go.
Interesting.
So we don't have any problem when it comes to the forage. So we have enough of it.
Yeah. So the forage season for nectar for the honeybees, is that long and drawn out, or is it a very short condensed season, or do you have multiple seasons where you have good nectar flows from all those plants?
No. Here we are lucky in Africa, mostly in Kenya. We are lucky. We have, the forage throughout the year, so we don't have any problem. Apart from different, like my place, we have integrated crops, so we have forage throughout the year, so we don't have any problems going to the bee hunger. So we have enough of it.
Okay, and so
yeah.
So per each one of your colonies that you have, what would you expect that your average annual honey crop would be per just an average colony? Like the weight, or how much honey does each colony produce on average?
Here, like the project I have also together with my community, per hive we get from 15 to 25 kg, 15 to 25 kg per season. So we harvest 3 times in a year.
Okay.
We're all trying to equate 33 pounds. 15 kilograms is 33 pounds.
So, but if he harvests 3 times a year, you're if you get the 33, well, you said 15 kg. Obviously, we understand it in a different measurement, and we would measure that in pounds here in the U.S. That for equivalent for your 15 kg would be 33 pounds for us. And if you're able to harvest that 3 times throughout your nectar flow season, that's roughly for us maybe 100 pounds or thereabouts.
That's about the same as us.
Yeah,
close to.
Very similar. It sounds like your season though is a little bit longer than what we have here in our part of the United States.
What day and time is it where you are right now?
At what?
What day is it? Sunday, Saturday, and what time is it?
Now today is Sunday. That is 6 a.m.
6 a.m.
Yeah. Today is Sunday, 6 a.m.
Yep.
Okay.
6 a.m.
So where we are, it's Saturday at 10 p.m.
All right. Saturday was yesterday.
Yeah. You're in the future.
How do you keep your hives there? Do you keep them in the Langstroth style hives like we have, or do you have another style of hive? How do you keep what type of hive do you keep your bees in?
Okay. From back years, we have different types of hives. A long time ago, we had a long hive which was used by the traditions, those men there back, and then as the technology keeping advancing, so we had another one founded in Kenya. It's called the KTBH. I know you know about it. It was founded in Kenya, KTBH, Kenya Top Bar Hive. We are now using the Langstroth. I mean, the Langstroth we are using to harvest pollen, honey, and propolis.
Yeah. So Clay over here wants to know how many hives do you run?
Like me, I have 50 hives. But I have mobilized my community. I have a community of 200 beekeepers, so we have almost 3,000 hives.
Wow.
And how wide, how large of an area does those 2,000 hives cover? Like,
it is being kept by individuals, so it is personal projects, but we do it as communal.
okay.
That's really nifty.
Must be time to get up. I hear your rooster crowing. Your chicken
Yes.
rooster. I heard a rooster crow. Must be wake up time.
I thought it was that rooster right behind you, JW.
Maybe.
So how did you find the chat or the channel
this morning?
Before.
Okay, I found the channel because most of the time in online marketing, big practice. I mean, big bee services. I do offer bee services to my own people here in Kenya, and not only in Kenya but even my neighboring countries like Uganda, Tanzania. So I do offer different services. So most of the time I'm online. Maybe getting in touch with my clients.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I came about this channel, and also I have been here for almost 8 months. So I'm just a silent member of this channel.
Mm-hmm. Now
I have been with this.
You said that you guys keep the hives as a community. Is that what I understand?
Yes. We keep as a community, everyone owning his or her own projects. So we have that empowering program because bees only economical projects, only the economical projects. So it doesn't need a lot of efforts. So it's just attractive project to our community. So everyone is just desiring to have the bee project.
Mm-hmm. And I have another question about the pests that you guys have to deal with in Kenya. To my knowledge, you guys have the Varroa destructor mite pest in your hives as well, same as us. Is that correct?
What? Repeat again. My network is not good here.
Okay, yeah, no worries. So here in the U.S., we have a pest that is a big problem for us with our honeybee colonies. It's called the Varroa destructor mite. To my understanding, it's on your continent as well. Is that correct?
Yes. In fact, as a beekeeper, I'm a bee farmer, not a beekeeper. Just because, as we say, a beekeeper can maybe keep bees for ornamental, but a bee farmer is somebody having a program. So actually, we are bee farmers. So as a bee farmer, actually, we have some problems. Maybe it's come to the Varroa and having the wax moth and beetles. So it's a great challenge, but I and my team, we are working on it, and we are trying to use different methodology to fight against the Varroa mite and the rest. But we are still improving, and that's why we are looking forward having different partners so that we can able to fight against these dangerous pests.
Yes. Do you care to share your program as far as how you deal with the Varroa destructor mite?
Yes, I will share later on. I'll share it later on. Maybe when I get my laptop, it's here. We don't have electricity.
Well, what do you use chemicals to treat for them, or what kind of medication?
No. We are using the natural methods.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. We are using the natural method, but there's something we are doing about it.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'll share later on. Yes.
Do you
Any
have
question?
that many hives? You have to have air traffic control. That is.
What do you do with the propolis that you produce?
The crops at there?
What do you do with the propolis that you harvest?
The propolis, we have come up with the byproduct of propolis. We have the propolis tincture. Yes, we have come up with the byproduct of propolis, and it is doing very well here in Kenya. It is curing different diseases. So actually, we call bee as the bee doctor. So daktari, doctor, I mean. So propolis we are using for medicinal value, and we have processed it, and we have a byproduct of propolis here, and we are working to have a large scale capacity so that we can start exporting to other countries.
Thank you. We do the same. We make a propolis tincture too.
Yes.
Now, do you in Kenya? Do you guys have like beekeeping or bee farmer conferences and things like that, like we do here in the United States? Like Tom and I were actually in Colorado at a conference where Brian lives for the weekend. Do you guys do similar things to that?
Yes. In fact, as well, like myself, I have conducted several conferences creating awareness about the importance of bees and the benefit we are getting from the bees. So I myself, I conduct conferences and also we do participate actually during the World Bee Day. So actually we have conferences here. We do conduct conferences, and also during the exhibition shows. So we do them here. So maybe one of these days, maybe if you can also interested, I can invite you, or also you can invite us. We can come. We can afford to come.
Yeah. Hey, JW.
That'd be a long trip.
JW, gas up the plane. We're heading south.
So do you guys have like bee clubs also? So like here in the US, we'll have like local bee clubs, like certain towns will have a bee club, or areas or whatnot will have just a little bee club for beekeepers, that on a monthly basis they'll meet. Do you guys do stuff like that or not really?
Yes. So here in Kenya, crabs doesn't work. But what we do here, like myself, my company, we learn programs. So the programs bring people together. They learn something new. We recruit them based on programs, so that we can keep monitoring activities of our members. So yes, we have groups here. We have, but it's just our organization, so that we can able to manage our members. Yes.
So someone asked a question in the chat, and they wanted to know about Africanized honeybee traits. So the aggressive nature of the Africanized honeybee. Do you all, in your area, do you experience very aggressive by nature the honeybee colonies?
Yeah. So I think. Okay. Can you repeat that questions? Maybe I can get it clear.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're called Africanized bees in Africa.
That's what I was wondering.
I wonder if you're calling them scutellata in Africa. That's my wonder here.
So more aggressive bees. Do you have extremely aggressive bees where you are? And if you do, how do you deal with those?
Okay. I get your question. So when it comes to the colony, maybe we have the bees are adapted different. We have the low-rad bees and the high-rad bees, so they are adapted differently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you find that they are very aggressive in nature or very defensive? Maybe that's a proper term.
Yes. Like you see, those one adapted in high-rad, they are in the high-rad, they are very, very aggressive than those in low-rad. So. But as business people, we love that aggressive bee because when it's come to the venom, it produces a lot. So it's very, yeah.
So when you all are working honeybees or managing the colonies, do you guys have protective gear that keeps you from head all the way down to your feet and covers all of your body?
Long time, not long time, our fathers or our grandfather, they used to harvest when they are naked. So you are not wearing these clothes we do wear nowadays. But actually, some of our members traditionally they just harvest when they are naked, so that bees can't maybe sting them. So, but now because we are modernizing our programs, we are making those bee suits here. So we are distributing to
Go ahead.
But as we do, we are producing the bee suits. So we do deliver them to our members.
Yeah. So just to clarify, you said that they traditionally in the past had been, you said naked when they are working bees. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes. I have said our fathers, our grandmother, their mode of harvesting, because we were not able to afford the or even to have the idea of bee suits. We met them harvesting naked with maybe wood smoke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would say you all have us beat when it comes to manliness.
I know Joey wears Crocs.
Joey wears Crocs.
Joey doesn't experience the aggressive genetics of that Africanized honeybee either.
Got a couple of questions here. I'm going to work backwards. What plants produce your nectar flows?
Okay. Like our places, there is enough nectar because we have forests around our places. We have farming activities around our places. So when it comes to the nectar, we have forest. We have the indigenous. We have the indigenous trees. So we don't have problem with the nectars.
So it's just a variation of all kind, huh?
You said avocados also,
avocado,
right?
Yeah, he said avocado.
We have the avocados, we have the mangoes, and even the kiwis. But the kiwis we have just started just another day, and the dragons. Yeah.
You said mangoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mangoes, pawpaws, popo. They are different. So here we do a lot of variety.
Taste that mango honey. I bet that's good.
Yeah.
And the coffee, honey. We have places. There is a big plantation of coffee. So the pollination there, you see the coffee is being pollinated. So the honey tastes like a coffee. The taste of coffee. Yeah.
I wonder what it takes for you to ship honey to the United States, or vice versa, us down to you.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if that would be some sort of issue with.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some foods you can't ship back and forth.
Hey, Brian, do you have any thoughts on that?
And also another problem you're having is the modern farming, because you see farmers have started using the chemicals. So, but you're trying to educate them how they should maybe go organically. So they have a problem of some farmers using the chemical, making our bees to be most disturbed. But we have that the awareness of them going organically to save our bees. Yeah.
Hey Brian, I don't know if
I done passed my question up. Somebody had asked about the color propolis.
Oh yeah.
I left it. Here it is. Green. I don't know what that's about.
What color is your propolis? Propolis.
Yes. You produce that propolis, right? Yeah. We just not the propolis. I have seen the text here. Somebody asking you produce that green propolis. Okay. All right. So what we do process the propolis, the natural propolis, not adding any color. So we do the propolis directly, processing it directly, naturally.
Do y'all do like a pollination service where you're at for
Okay,
other
we have
companies?
yes,
Farmers?
yes, yeah. We have pollination services. We have some people coming from foreign countries, like we have some coming from Netherlands and some other countries here in Kenya. And because of lack of enough pollination, because we are owning or we are doing big farms here in Kenya, because of lacking enough pollination, so we are doing that service. We have started offering that service because of them, because of that need from them. Yeah.
Hey Brian, do you have any thoughts of what the logistics would look like on shipping honey to a different country or them shipping to us?
I have no idea.
Okay. Because of high demand in our country, so even without importing, we have sustaining the demand in locals. But because we are empowering more and more farmers to come on board, so we want to start exporting to other countries. But those are us. They have our product.
Hey Melissa, would you turn that off? I can't hear.
I'm going to say good night. It was very nice meeting you.
Good night, Big Mike.
See you,
Good night,
Mike.
everyone.
Somebody want to know if you use essential oils in your beekeeping.
Yes.
Do you use any kind of essential oils for treating your bees?
They use the oil of beef farming. Okay. The one we use here for attracting bees, we do the lemongrass. The lemongrass, the lemongrass for attracting. We process that maybe to in form of oil, applying to our hives. The lemongrass oil.
Lemongrass? Well, y'all, it's getting late and I'm getting sleepy. So
Yeah, me too.
we've been on 3 hours and 18 minutes now.
Mm.
Now, is your first name Ken, or is it just Kenya Africa B?
My name is Ken. I'm known as Ken Mwangi. So those are my official names.
Ken, and say the last name Munge.
Yeah, Mwangi.
Well, you'll have to come back on and chat again sometime so we can have additional conversation. This is interesting.
It's spelled.
Yeah.
His name is spelled Myangi.
Okay.
That's cool. You come on. I'm glad you come on. That was interesting.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Ken. Ken, do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah. I have my YouTube channel that is Wave Farm channel.
We'll have to check it out.
Wave channel.
Yeah, we're gonna look it up real quick. Wave Farm channel.
Yeah, I think he tried to come on a couple times
he's been on before. Yeah, he's in the chats.
Yeah, he's tried to come on live, and it wouldn't let him come on for some reason.
Got it.
Ken, we just subscribed to your channel.
Yeah, so did I.
We look forward to seeing some of the videos and the content that you create in your area.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, this was fun. I enjoyed the chat with you and understanding how you all briefly keep honeybees and management and your nectar sources and all the above.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm gonna call it. And say good night to everybody.
See y'all.
Appreciate everybody coming on.
Hold on. Clay wants to know what the channel was again. Hold on 1 second. What was the
go ahead
channel?
and post it in here, and we'll try to put it in the comments too, or in the description.
Wait.
Hold on, Melissa's gonna post it.
Wayfar channel, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it was that, was it?
No, I misspelled.
Hold on.
I got it.
She's doing it.
Hold on. I had a misspelling. I had to fix it.
Right there at the bottom.
Oh, Way Farm. I still misspelled it.
She misspelled
it again.
It's WAYFARM channel. Way Farm, one word, channel.
There, I spelled it right this time.
Okay, there you are.
Get them cut off, Joey. They're going to start talking again.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Night, Ken.
Night.
Or good morning, Ken. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
So divide that by 2.
Okay.